full time. It's twice to go through it, and then like they add more a third time. Like they add like about like 10 or 11 more races, and then they add those endurance races, which was boy that 81 lap.
I like endurance races though, man.
It was brutal, man. It took me it was damn near almost a 4-hour race.
Do you know what really works really well for endurance races? Believe it or not, is the steering wheel. Like that's where it really comes in handy.
Yeah, and I wanted a steering wheel.
I thought we were gonna get the Donism right there. You know, it's really good for endurance races.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get something. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you know I'm no Minute Man.
Oh man.
It'll only take a minute, man. And by the way, everybody, welcome to the pre-game. We are back. It is 2018, and I have about 9 days till my birthday. For anybody out there who is trying to flex those Xbox gift muscles, you know, online or whatnot. But yo, it feels really good to be back doing the pregame with you guys. What have you guys been up to for like?
Doo-doo on your hands? You got doo-doo on your hands?
Okay.
Oh.
Well. Anyway, somebody's into painting.
Somebody
that's an inside joke from something we heard you saying earlier.
Yeah, that's not.
I was gonna say, cheese for their birthday. Took a cheese for their birthday.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that's what.
Yeah, we heard your son was doing wall paintings, like cave paintings, or something like that.
Anybody who has multiple kids, they know the pain. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying is they know the pain. Like it's amazing what kids decide is paintable, and with what they decide paint can be. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say. But when it comes down to that, they turn into little janitors afterwards, and they start cleaning their mess as well. But anyway, other than that, yo, what have you guys been up to for these like couple weeks here, man? It feels like forever that I've talked to you guys, except for the Don and occasionally Pred in PUBG, which I do want to throw out there. Anybody who wants to play PUBG, I suggest thinking twice if you want to play it with the Don. That's all I gotta say. Yeah.
If you want an adventure, let's do this.
Isn't that like basically any game, man? You just want to be cautious when you play with the Don because it's like you never know what you're gonna get.
Halo 5, he is really good in the multiplayer with like team deathmatch or whatever. Like he's good. He'll stick with his team. Everything like that. When it comes to PUBG, I don't know what kind of like snaps in his head, but he just takes off, man. I don't
Survival
know.
of the fittest, I think.
It's a game that you can play with no pants. What do you expect?
That's true. Right. That's true.
Well, while we're doing this, I want to give a huge shout out to our boy UK Daz. He said that I don't know, he's half dead or something like that, but he's here. He is our moderator of the year. It is good to see him in the chat. My boy Vogel, of course, Stinking Corpse. The Don's in the chat as well, which is cool. But I don't know, guys. How many hours in PUBG have you guys put in on the Xbox already?
I don't know. Not enough, I'll say that, because I haven't really played that much.
I play maybe about 8 to 10 matches. That's
it, dude?
That's probably about as much as I played.
Oh man, I've definitely played more than that, but I try to avoid the game because you're gonna get that invite if you're live on Xbox Live. So I just try to hop into another game as quick as I can before the invites start hitting.
Yeah. So and I've been on Forza, man, and then I'm on The Witcher. I'm back on it. So
The Witcher.
The Witcher. So matter of fact, that's what I got running right now, and I'm just going to be trying to do a little bit of both. It's a little different trying to play that game and do the podcast than playing Forza, but we're gonna still try.
That is true.
Yeah. So.
But the thing is, like, for me, I think the reason why I haven't been playing PUBG as much is because I'm trying to get more of a gamer score going on my profile. So it's kind of like, it's kind of weak right now. It's at like 30,000. So I'm like, I gotta
you playing that game right now.
Well, they don't have achievements for that game, so it's like, you know, I can kind of, you know, go get the achievements, or I can play PUBG. And I think right now I just kind of want to get achievements, trying to bump that gamer score up, you know.
Well, dude, I gotta say, Snaps in this house is like a PUBG fanatic, and whenever she's home from work, that's like the first thing that goes on in the living room. Before you know it, I get a game invite, I get a party invite, all that good stuff. So,
no, yeah, I mean, if you guys hit me up and say, hey, you want to play some PUBG, I'll be like, yeah, let's play. But if I'm
I've got like 78 hours in this already.
by myself, no.
Wow.
So here's the thing with Xbox. You know, like he usually goes to bed much earlier than me, and I usually hop on pretty late at night.
Yeah.
And
Tell me about it.
Yeah, K Mega's going to sleep, Xbox going to sleep. Man, Xbox been staying up later than I have. That's how much that Snaps and Xbox been playing that game. Like, and they have to drop off kids at school in the morning. They're like, nah, they'll just walk to school.
Well,
you know?
the kids were on vacation, and then we got snowstorms and stuff like that up here in Connecticut. So they've been home quite a lot, and I didn't have to wake up so early. So yeah, we'll be up until like 3-4 in the morning, and I'll end up waking up at like 11:30 or noon time.
Yeah, I know. Your kid's going to end up being homeschooled. You're just going to put like tapes of hooked on phonics and put some headphones on them, and you're good to go.
Wow.
Oh man.
Here we go. We already back. You know, we're back in the roll of things here. Like, but I don't know, guys. We got some information in the DM talking about topics and stuff like that, which caused me to kind of like step back and take a look at the topics we were doing, and we are gonna lead with something possibly major. And I know me and the Don, we have had similar thoughts and views on Digital Foundry, and it seems that there is a developer out there willing to, I guess you could say, stand up to them. So I don't know. I really want to get into this, guys. I don't know. Are you ready to check out the intro?
Yeah, man.
Let's
do it.
Wow. I think, what was that? Dark was like right there. I hardly finished my sentence. He's like, yeah, man, let's go.
Still not Fusky, man.
I'm ready, man. I want to talk about this. You know? I know you guys miss Fusky, you know, that golden voice, you know. I'm trying, man. Okay?
I was gaming with him yesterday, man. Dude's absolutely hilarious at PUBG. Like, he is the direct opposite of Snaps. Snaps tries to go and hide and, you know, collect guns and stuff, but then hide, wait it out and stuff. Fusky's is full force running right at. Oh, I hear gunshots to the north. Let's run there. He like full-fledged like runs into battle, yeah. But all right, let's check out this intro, yeah. What's going on, people, and welcome to the first episode of the next podcast for 2018. And guys, I am really excited for this episode. We have come together with the topics in the DM, and we have put together a killer show for you guys tonight. But of course, we can't talk about that until we get into the intros. And first, I want to introduce the #1 chef of PUBG. He is the reason why everybody is craving those chicken dinners. Of course, I am introducing Predator!
Yo, what's up, man? Happy 2018 to everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed the holidays and New Year's. And I'm ready to get this year started with a bang with the first episode of the year. Let's go.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It was funny doing the pregame, man. At first, it was a little quiet, and then before you know it, everything started rolling. Like we didn't even miss a show or anything. So I'm really excited to dive into this. But let's move on down the list, and he is coming live from the 405, man. It was really good to hear his voice in the hangout before the show started, man. Again, it felt like forever since I talked to my brother K Mega.
What's happening? What's going on? What it do, man? It's good to be back. 2018, we got big things popping, and yeah, it's been a while, man. Yeah, I kind of was on hiatus mode gaming, so I have to do this. I have to do this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to do it, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right, man. So when we get that out the way, yeah, man, ready to get the show going, man. Like I said, it's glad to be back, and shit, let's get it going.
Nice, man. And since you did the Angry Otter, next in my introductions is that 3-time world saver, quite possibly soon to be 4-time, and yes, he is coming to the show this week without being sick, and that is Dark Optimus.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's good to be back, without being sick this time around. 2018's looking to be a good year, so let's get into these topics.
Oh yeah, man. It only took a couple days, man. It started January 3rd and 4th. All of a sudden, you started hearing about Xbox exclusives and Halo 6, and you got
man. It's been crazy.
Dude, a couple days in, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be a crazy year when it comes to Xbox, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Am I forgetting to introduce any? Oh man, my lights are flickering. I know what that means. It's time for everybody in the chat to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring. The Don.
Hey, what's up, guys? There's nothing like having a week off, and man, you feel sharper than I don't know, like an architect's pencil afterwards, man. You're just on top of it. You're just kind of got a new spring in your step, and I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, yo, me too, man. It's oh man, I got an alarm going off on my phone here. Hold on. Live shows. Anyway, but yeah, dude, it started yesterday with me with Crossfire. We went in on Crossfire. Pred was on the show as well, and the energy, man, it was absolutely electric, and it's just kind of overflowing into today, and we got BGST coming up and stuff like that. It's really good to be back doing live shows for everybody. And on that note, we got to get in on the first topic. And yo, Pred, I know I didn't say anything in the DM, but or before the show, but I would actually like you to take the lead on this and kind of bring it out to the rest of the panel and stuff. What is going on with Digital Foundry? There's a certain developer, a certain game. You posted the article. What's going on with all that, man?
Well, apparently, was it 34 Big Things? The developer of the game read out. They didn't really like the analysis that Digital Foundry did on their game, and called them out on it. So they're threatening legal action at this point. But we'll see if that actually goes through for fruition. But as it is, they're basically saying Digital Foundry's review and the tech specs analysis they did on that game were incorrect. Digital Foundry said the game's running at 1080p on Xbox One X, and they're saying no, that's not correct. It's running at sub 4K, it kind of hits 4K in some spots. It kind of dips down in other spots, but it's not nearly as bad as Digital Foundry tries to make it seem.
Gotcha.
So. And all this just kind of came out within the last hour or so that I saw anyway. So
yeah,
there's probably gonna be more to follow on in the future. But as of right now, I mean, it seems like they're not really very happy with what Digital Foundry did, and it kind of makes you question Digital Foundry, because there's a couple other people out there that do tech analysis, but they're not really well known. Mm-hmm. I guess we don't hear about them as much, and we kind of take Digital Foundry as the gospel sometimes when we hear their analysis on things. And not saying they're always wrong, not saying they're always right, but maybe we need to start questioning what they're putting out a little bit more than we have, because we don't really have anybody else out there to police them. And it's not the first time. I think Don had mentioned something earlier. He may touch on it later, but the devs are calling them out, saying, "Hey, this isn't correct." And I prefer if a dev is going to do a remaster or an Xbox One X enhancement, for them to do their own analysis instead of allowing Digital Foundry to do it for them. It will make more sense for them to say, this is what we changed, and come out with a developer's blog or something like that, so we can see the differences in what they did. Because right now they're waiting on an outside agency to do it, which isn't really what they want. Because you come up with certain things like this.
So let me get this straight. The game Redout, which basically it's a futuristic racer, kind of like Wipeout and stuff like that. The developer 34 Things, because Digital Foundry did an analysis on the Xbox One X enhancement patch for the game, and basically Digital Foundry said that the game is 1080p according to their analysis, and the developer is actually coming out and saying that their analysis is completely bogus, right?
Correct.
Wow. Guys, I am not... You guys know I'm not a fan of Digital Foundry. And, Predator said it, absolutely perfectly, where, the community, people within the gaming industry, they look at Digital Foundry as kind of like the end-all, be-all when it comes to this analysis. I don't know. Well, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys think that Digital Foundry is now kind of like officially caught red-handed and not like giving the truth out when it comes to a game analysis? What do you think's going on with this?
I'll go in there and just say it. They've been caught many times. Yeah. This is just a developer finally standing up for themselves, right? Ubisoft called them out on the last Assassin's Creed, where they did some tech analysis, like off-screen, some sort of shit, or I think it was off the Xbox conference or something like that, and they saying the game was using checkerboard, and they said, nuh-uh, and then the game comes out, and the harsh reality is, well, Ubisoft was telling the truth, and Digital Foundry wasn't, or they were incapable of properly analyzing the footage, right? It's one of the two. Either they're lying or they're incompetent.
Those are not two good choices, right there.
No, you don't. I can't give them the benefit of the doubt on it, right? People know that I'm not a fan of Digital Foundry, even if they were positive for Xbox or against Xbox. I want to make sure that's very, very clear, right? I don't trust their analysts when they take footage from incomplete games, betas, things from like footage that's streamed, and then they analyze that footage. Like, anyone that understands all this tech analyst thing, incomplete games, there's no point in testing that. There's no point of recording something else that's been captured off something else and then analyzing that. Like, we give them too much weight as individuals, because it I think sometimes the gamers I hate to blame the gamer, right? But sometimes we have to be accountable for who we give the credit to, right?
Yeah.
I think we, as gamers, need to be a little more skeptical. I'm not saying like, constantly point out or use words, call them out and call them like fraud or anything like that. I'm not into that either, right? But you have to look.
It's a fraud, by the way.
Yeah, I think you have to just look at things evenly, right? Objectively, true objectiveness. Like, are these guys legit? Or are these guys not? And try to look at it from both perspectives and see what conclusion you guys come to. And that's always been my approach with Digital Foundry is, I don't trust their tech analyst, and it's no different now, and it's going to be no different than going forward. And they built this business off of, this hate, right, towards one particular console, and now they're painted in this corner. They can't be a tech analyst company because that affects their bottom line. And so it's just where they're at in regards to this. I'm glad the company is standing up and they, took the first step in saying, hey, we're thinking about taking legal action. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It may be fluff. Digital Foundry may do a retraction or apology, or try to cover up their tracks or whatever it may be. But this sort of stuff needs to happen. If you're going to be calling people out, right, you have to be accountable for what results you actually get. You have to be able to prove these are real findings. I mean, Bungie didn't even trust them to record footage of Destiny 2. This is a true thing. This is something Digital Foundry admitted, that Bungie did not trust them to capture the footage. Bungie captured the footage for them for the PC version to give them to analyze later, right in front of them, because they didn't trust their equipment, they didn't trust how they were doing. So, I mean, there's something to be said there. I mean, this is just the industry, I can tell you what the industry kind of thinks of Digital Foundry behind the scenes, just amongst the people I know. They don't trust them. Simple as that. Nobody does that I've ever met. And, they rather have them go away, but they realize times have changed and people are going to be looking. They expect to know what they're getting out of the performance of their machine, what they spent their money on. So, we're here and it's not going away. But the person that started all this, I mean, I think their time's eventually going to come to an end. I just don't know when.
To me, it's crazy. I know. Me and the Don have been talking about certain things with Digital Foundry when it comes to their analysis, and the Don just said it. This isn't the first time. Bungie, they recorded the gameplay for Digital Foundry because they didn't trust them doing it and whatnot. And I know when it comes to the article that Pred shared, and Pred, thank you again for sharing that article. It was only like a few minutes before I put the Hangout up and everything like that. But I figured this is such an important topic because people look to Digital Foundry a lot, especially this generation when it comes to the analysis, the resolution, all that good stuff, and to show that this dev is now standing up and saying, you know what, your analysis is basically bullshit. And I actually watched the analysis this morning, and I know Predator, you did as well. What did you think when you first saw Digital Foundry's analysis? Did you feel like what they were saying was awkward? Because I know they're like, the HUD is 4K, but the game is 1080p and all this good stuff, and they were saying how the PS4 version actually runs better in terms of frame rates, which right now it does. Even 34 Big Things has stated that they are working on solutions when it comes to the frame rate when you're racing against the AI in this game. But Pred, what did you think when you first saw the Digital Foundry analysis? Did you think it was off to begin with?
I did, and even if it wasn't off, I kind of thought like even if it sucks now, it's something they'll probably fix later. Because there's no reason why this game should be running worse than the PS4 version. The first thing I said to myself was, "What the fuck is this game?" And I heard it before. And then when I looked at it, looked at the video, I was like, "Okay, that's something that's probably gonna get patched later." So I didn't put a lot of weight to it. I didn't even watch the whole video. I just kind of like, okay, so the game runs better on the Pro. They get patched later and fixed it, and hopefully Digital Foundry comes back and redoes their video. And then I, clicked out of the fucking video and went on and did other things. And then I get back from running around and ripping and shit today, and I see, what the dev said about the review, and I was like, interesting. So I didn't hold a lot of weight to it. I mean, I'm at the point now where I do like looking at the Digital Foundry comparison videos just to kind of see the differences sometimes. But like at the end of the day, if the game runs like shit on Xbox and runs better on the PlayStation 4, if I really want, I'm gonna buy it anyway. So it doesn't make a big difference to me. I think what Digital Foundry does when they do things like this, it damages the sales of a game because they review shit that's not even done, complete, or out yet a lot of the times, and if they come out with something negative, like I remember when they did like the Gears of War one, or the Halo 5 one, like, and the game wasn't even out yet. It was maybe like it might have been in one of the games might have just been like in a beta phase or something like that. And they're actually did
have a beta as well.
Yeah, and they're actually doing like they're like Don was saying a while ago, they're doing reviews and doing analysis on things that aren't even complete yet. But then they'll come out and they'll say negative stuff about that beta or alpha. And then like when people read that, they say, oh, this game runs like shit. Sometimes they don't go back and read the final version of the game with the analysis after they get done, or Digital Foundry doesn't update it, or they don't say anything about it later. But like when you see that, it's like the first impression is the one that matters the most. If someone's first impression is a Digital Foundry analysis, then they say that this beta looks like shit or runs like shit, they're going to stick with that. And so when the game releases, people may choose not to buy it because they're going to remember that analysis. They're not going to know that it got fixed or patched or fixed later on. They're just going to go with what they read the first time. And it kind of screws over some of these games that are coming out because some people think they're shitty games based off of what they hear in Digital Foundry. Because like, again, some people think this shit is the gospel and it's not.
So I'm going to point this out though. Like, people always let, outlets like a Digital Foundry or something like that tell them what they're seeing, right? Why does that matter over the individual gamer what they notice, right? If they are enjoying the game or visually like the way the game looks, they enjoy it, right? Why are you letting Digital Foundry dictate that for you? You know, and I do think, you know, they do serve like a thing where if a developer is, you know, basically releases a game that's in a state that's not okay, and someone calls them out on that in a analytical form, I think that does serve a good purpose, right? Like there can be some good that comes from this sort of stuff, right? But I think the gamer's perspective is so skewed, and they give so much more weight to Digital Foundry than they do themselves, and that's where, you know, I get a little frustrated, because like I want gamers to just judge games the way they used to. Used to look at the game and see if they like the visuals, period, right? And you know, you're kind of missing out on good products sometimes, or the platform you maybe prefer to play on because of these analytic software. It's just, I think it defeats the purpose to a certain degree. It does have its place, but it's just like, you know, the expert of what you can see is you, not me. You know, not you know, some other YouTuber. It's you as an individual.
Yeah, definitely. And when, like, you know, the beginning of this generation, when they were talking about like 900p compared to 1080p and stuff like that, that's like they lost a lot of credibility with me anyway, because my whole thing with the game is it fun? Does it look good? Like, overall resolution doesn't mean that much. But when they really started, like, really hammering that home, and then, you know, the whole GTA thing, and I gotta learn to shut off my alarms here. But the whole GTA thing with the blades of grass and everything, I thought was absolutely ridiculous. But I do want to move on to, K-Mega. What do you think about this information coming out? What do you think about the devs, you know, kind of like standing up for their game? And basically coming out and saying that Digital Foundry, you know, is kind of full of shit when it comes to this analysis. And do you think, like, the gaming media is actually going to put this out there and really let people know that, you know, Digital Foundry is not that end-all, be-all when it comes to tech analysis that a lot of people think they are, man?
No, they're not going to do that. And, you know, this is not the first time, like Don said, that they got caught using an unpatched version of anything. Remember that they did this to Gears of War, and they were talking about it with 720p, and then it just caused a whole bunch of clickbait of like, oh, what's going to happen? Is the Xbox more powerful? I mean, is it powerful enough to sustain to get out of the resolution war? All that garbage, right? So I'm with Don and you. I mean, I've never been fond of them, even though they've been on a love fest for the Xbox One X here lately. But you know, eventually when the PlayStation 5 comes, it's going to be the same way. And you know, I said this in my latest video, so I apologize if people already heard me say this, but this is how I look at it. Look at critics. I remember back when you know, there was these two critics, Siskel and Ebert. They were really big. Everybody, like, I used to watch them all the time. And I remember when Blade first came out, and they ripped Blade, the movie Blade, up and down, said it was nonsense. It was a waste of money. If you go and see it, it made no sense. It was silly. And it almost made me, because I listened to them all the time, it almost made me think like, man, damn, I don't know if I want to go see this movie then. And, you know, it really did, because I used to listen to them all the time. And when I actually went and seen Blade for myself, and I came out like, this movie is crack. And then I'll go back, I've seen it like 5 times. And I'm like, what were they thinking? Why were they judging it this way? And it just comes down to what everybody on the panel has been saying so far, is that it's preference. Gamers like what they like, and it doesn't matter what somebody else tells you. This is just part of the console war that they push to make narrative for their views, not for anybody that likes to play certain games that other people may not like, or be you know, that might want to play and might be attracted to. So regardless of how this game performs or how it looks, as long as you enjoy it, that's what it's all about. And that's how it's always been. So again, I don't understand why, if they were going to do this to other games where they're going to say it's better here, better there, whatever, I don't see why they never ran any of these other games that's on the PlayStation or on Nintendo for that much. I mean, why is it always has to be these certain games that they just want to just point and push and then they got caught. I'm happy for the developer going after them. I really am, because I think more developers need to do that. And something that Pred said earlier was absolutely true. Xbox needs to stop depending on others to try to get their point across, because it's going to turn on them eventually, especially when the PlayStation 5 comes, or if a certain particular game comes out on Nintendo and they're going to be the darlings of that month or whatever. Mm-hmm. So they need to start having other people do analysts so they can, so people can actually get the truth.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, I think when it came down to it, it was only a matter of time, in my opinion. You know, that Digital Foundry was going to get caught out by some type of dev that wasn't going to just be like, all right, and kind of roll over on this. So I'm really happy that 34 Big Things is standing up for themselves and saying that this whole thing is bogus. But we have to hear from Dark as well. Dark, what do you think about this news?
Have to.
Huh?
Damn. It's like we have to.
I'm interested to see what he thinks about this. What he thinks about Digital Foundry, and definitely what he thinks about this kind of like moving forward. I'm gonna watch this closely. I want to see if the developer really goes and takes legal action against Digital Foundry, and if this kind of gains any type of momentum going into a courtroom or anything like that. But Dark, what do you think about this? Did you see something like this coming? Did you believe in like Digital Foundry's analysis before time? Has this shaken any kind of thought process when it comes to their tech analysis for the future, man?
I'm going to be completely honest here, and before I even got into this community, I didn't even know who Digital Foundry was. Mm. I had no idea until like somebody mentioned it to me, and then I started watching some of their videos, and I was all like, click. I clicked off. I was just like, I'm not gonna listen to this, I'm just not somebody who's gonna listen to analysis on games. I play games for me and what I enjoy. I already know what I'm gonna enjoy. If it's an indie game that that somebody says, hey bro, you gotta go play this, I'm gonna probably play it because somebody was all like, hey, you really have to play it. But I mean, it's just, I don't know, like this whole them analyzing games and stuff like that, like why are they going in depth with all this stuff? Like they I understand that there are people out there that want to hear about like
that's a really good question though, because like it's become so big this generation. It's like
it has that's the problem though with this generation, is that's become the big thing is what's the frames per second, what's the resolution, like who cares, man? As long as the gameplay is good, the story is good, you're fine. Like who gives a crap about all that, but with them coming at this developer on on this kind of like this game's only running at 1080p and stuff like that, and the developer coming out and saying, no, you're lying, you're wrong. Good on the developer, man, to really come out and say something, because there's a lot of developers out there that probably wouldn't say something. They would just let it go. But I think in the long run, I think if they do take legal action with this, I think Digital Foundry should watch what they do, watch what they say, and really they need to analyze themselves, to be honest.
What's interesting, I think it opens up a Pandora's box against Digital Foundry, right? Like it only takes one brave developer to kind of stand up for themselves, right? And where the other ones have been slighted in the past, it doesn't mean they won't support that developer, right? Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing: one of the reasons why we get some games that are not showing out as far in advance as they do, because of Digital Foundry. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, right? But like, Doom was ready to be, I prefer games shown later to actual release dates, so that's my personal preference. But the company decided not to show their game a year earlier, which was visible because they're afraid of tech analysts like Digital Foundry taking unfinished footage, right? That affects you guys. So, because they're fueling some sort of console debate, that's that's silly. You know, why don't you just, you know, you guys want to see your games. I know Xbox on the opposite end of this fence. He wants to see games sooner than later, right?
I definitely do. And
yeah. So, you know, I mean, doesn't it kind of tick you guys off a little bit that they, because of that, developers are kind of afraid of their own shadow to put their work out there for you guys to enjoy sooner?
Definitely, man. That was actually what I was gonna say, because I feel like we need a tease of the future when it comes to like the bigger conventions like E3 and stuff like that. And if the developers are a lot iffier on showing that stuff now, because, you know, let's just be honest, Digital Foundry, because like we said, that's the end all be all right there. And you know, if they decide that they're not going to show it because of what Digital Foundry might say or do with that early kind of like gameplay footage or whatnot, yeah, I don't want them analyzing that stuff then, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that big of a deal anyway. When it comes to like overall resolution, this entire generation, I've been like, you know, who really gives two shits? As long as, you know, the textures, the lighting, all the stuff that really means something to graphics, it is done well.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, even more importantly, is the gameplay and the story and the mechanics. If everything flows and it's cohesive to being an immersive gaming experience, then I don't really give a shit what the overall resolution is, or if it drops 2 frames over here when you look down at the ground left of that rock. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Right.
and that's what it should be. You know, because here's the thing: is they never put it in perspective, right? And that's always been the fundamental issue. Is, you know, it's not relatable stuff. They just take something out of context, they run with it. I believe the correct term is fake news, right? And they keep talking about it, right? And the thing is, they know it perpetuates frustration, right? So what happens? Us as gamers, we'll sit there and be on a podcast and talk about it, or talk to our friends. Can you believe what they said, right? And they go get a click. They don't care if they're hated. They don't, because the reality is they get a click. Simple as that.
That's true.
And so, and that's what their motivation is, right? You know, and this, we've seen this stuff on PC cards all the time, right? But that serves a purpose. Like, what graphic card am I going to buy, right? Mm-hmm. But even, you know, but the thing with like graphic cards is not all graphic cards, even though one may be technically more horsepower, it may not run certain games not that well, right? Just because of drivers and things like that. So those tech analyzing companies do serve a higher purpose when it comes to like a PC graphics card.
Yeah.
In that sense. But even then, those are not permanent buying decisions for PC players that are really into it, right? I mean, they're not afraid to buy a graphic card once every 2 or 3 years. So, like, it's even then, it's kind of, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, we're gonna get. I've always been frustrated with you guys. I mean, like, I always looked at them like the 2 jokers in the balcony of of the Muppets.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, or Wallace and Gromit, right? Like, you know, I just can't take these guys seriously. I've never been able to. And I know someday that, you know, if they're still around and my products, you know, that I've worked on come out, I know they're gonna judge it, and they still can't weld 2 vertices together, but they're gonna tech analyze graphics in a video game. I'm like, get out of here! You're not even qualified for the job.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I hope people can finally see that, you know, people look to them for certain things when it comes to performance and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you know, it's about your experience. And if you play a game and you feel like, you know, some people aren't affected by frame rate or anything like that, like, at the end of the day, just don't put so much importance on them and their channel. As you can see, you know, they're not that solid, like, you know, 100% this is what's going on with games, period, anyway. So when it comes down to it, I mean, there's other tech channels if you want to go and check them out. I know in this article, 34 Big Things, the developer, they said that their game is backed up by another kind of like tech company called VG Tech. So they said that VG Tech did an analysis of their game as well, which showed something different than what Digital Foundry is saying. And I hope this goes to like start something to where maybe Digital Foundry is not held to that high pedestal that a lot of people seem to think they deserve. Because I've never seen that, you know.
I really hope developers start trolling them.
I definitely do too. I'll start developers start just standing up if they feel that, you know, because I mean these guys, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into these games, and even though, you know, and this is the thing, these games are made by human beings, so these games will not be perfect. They're even the best game that you've ever played always had some kind of flaw to them. But if you're going to overanalyze every little aspect of a video game that's not about how the game feels or how fun the story is or how compelling the story is, any of that, then you're getting away from the whole point of how to play a video game. This is not a movie. And I understand that there's really big budgets that's going on with video games now, and they want to have more compelling stories and things of that nature. That's great. But when you're going to talk about blades of grass and when you want to talk about how that door or that rock has different type of edges and ridges other than how that game actually feels and plays, then we're losing what gaming is all about. I mean, that's just my opinion.
You know, one of the things I would like us, you know, as the next podcast, I know we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but you know, we're all Xbox guys, and it's very well known, right? Mm-hmm. But when some sort of bullshit happens with Digital Foundry, and when it's a Sony thing, I think we need to stand up and say that's bullshit, right? We can't just stick it up when it's just Xbox side of things, because it comes off as like, you know, you're just a bunch of fans, right? Mm-hmm. I think, you know, when we see bullshit, regardless of what side they're taking, right? And, you know, me personally, my side is I'm not a fan of it. Simple as that. Doesn't matter what they're analyzing, not a fan of them. So if they're going to say bullshit and it comes up as a topic, I'd be more than happy to stand up for whatever that topic is, regardless of who they're ragging on. And I think that's an approach that all gamers should have. I think they're a common enemy, not a common friend. So.
Right, yeah, and that's why I don't even talk about them. You know, I don't talk about MPDs unless I'm trying to make the point of saying that MPDs really shouldn't be the focal point to what makes and breaks a game. But when it comes, I don't use that as for when Xbox does well or with Xbox gets a great rating on or what analyst from Digital Foundry. That shit is irrelevant to me. It has always been irrelevant to me because there's been good games that had the shittiest graphics and ran like crap. There's just been some good games that's been that way. And if you're taking away from the creativity of what these developers are trying to do, and what you're doing is that you're making them go another direction instead of using their vision of what they're trying to make as a game. And the beautiful thing about this era is that for anything that game has, they have a problem with, like with resolution, shit like that, they can patch it later. What you want is to get is the true vision of what they're trying to do, and then we can get in there and say whatever else that's flawed. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, when you look at like what's going on with gaming, I have certain concerns like in general when it comes to gaming moving into the future, because what I think what K Mega is talking about is like the soul of the game, and when we start basically commercializing, you know, the game, when we're talking about just the stats to it and stuff like that, and not talking about like the story that's surrounding whatever game you're playing, like you're almost taking away the soul of gaming, in my opinion. So when I see like Digital Foundry and people putting in so much importance on like the overall resolution. Now, when it comes to like frame rate or something like that, when it comes to like say PUBG and the rubber banding issue that's going on in PUBG right now, that is an issue. But it's also a game that's in game preview, so I'm also hopeful that they are going to fix these things. But when it comes down to it, if you just talk about the technical like analysis of these games, you're kind of taking away the soul of the game, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I just think you take away from certain resources when you pigeonhole developers into a certain corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you demand certain things. So I always say, like, the gamers should be careful what they ask for, right? You know, I've talked about the whole frame rate thing, right? Like, you know, in the past, and that's a perfect example where if you just demand 60 frames on every single game, and as an option, there's a sacrifice there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's sacrifices on resolution too as well. But that's where it becomes like a concern of mine, right? Where every box has a certain set amount of power. All I'm asking for, you know, as a consumer and as a developer, is all I ask is utilize that power however you feel fit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
As a developer, put some effort into it, right? That's all. I think that's all one's asking for when they buy an X or when they buy a Pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put some more effort into it. Do what you can. See what your vision fell short of, and make it happen. Because now you have more power, right?
Yeah.
You know, for me, you know, I always want console to be the optimized console experience. I don't want to pigeonhole developers to a particular resolution or a particular frame rate. Yes, I know the outcome and what the advantages and disadvantages of all those things are, but there are also a lot of things that these tech analyze companies just don't know what they're sacrificing. I noticed some people that actually will analyze like certain things, like what type of performance hit ambient occlusion takes, and everyone I've heard in the community hasn't said it right at all. And they're smart people, like, and I'm not trying to, you know, make fun of them or anything like that, because they really are smart people, and their numbers and their findings are correct in the confines of what they're looking at. But what they don't understand is, like, ambient occlusion is totally affected by the polygon count. Well, that's not something you can really analyze by looking at a screen, right? That's what a developer does. They hide the polygon count from the player to make the game look as smooth as possible, but also optimizing it, right? So, you know, there's just little things like that. Like, people just, you know, there's nothing wrong with numbers, nothing wrong with any of this sort of stuff, but just let the developers do what they need to do. And you know, their job is to visually make a difference for you, that you can make it tangible and see and play and enjoy. Nice. And that's really it.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I'm interested to see how this story does move on in terms of like legal action and stuff like that. But as for now, I think we gave them kind of like their spotlight. Yo, huge shout out to 34 Big Things for standing up for their game. You know, if somebody is saying something about, you know, this thing that isn't right, at least they're standing up and letting it be known to everybody that it's not right. So, but moving on from that, I also found out this week that Xbox is doing something that I'm not too happy with, to be really honest with you. You guys know I am a fan of the Kinect, all right? I love having the Kinect. I haven't been able to use it since I got the X because I feel like I should get an adapter for free. Now, you know, whether you guys think I'm right or wrong about that, that's you know, your opinion or whatnot. But it seems that this past week, Xbox has come out and said basically they are discontinuing the adapter. So any like fans of the Kinect, whether you use it to start up, you know, your system, or you use it to play like Kinect Rivals or anything like that, if you were telling like your family and friends about it and maybe they were interested in getting into it, guess what, guys? It's pretty much going away. In terms of, you know, future development or anything like that for the Kinect. And I'm upset about this, you know, and I want to know what the panel thinks. So I'm going to start with K-Mega. He has a very wide array of games that he plays and stuff like that. So K-Mega, what do you think about the news that, you know, they're discontinuing the adapter, basically, you know, discontinuing the Kinect as a whole? What does it mean to you, and what do you think it means to, you know, those gamers out there who enjoy that peripheral and, you know, possibly we're getting friends and family to look into it as well?
What it means to me personally is that Xbox is saying we're trying to get rid of 2013. We're trying to get away from 2013. Completely. Anything that's connected to that, and pretty much the Kinect, forcing the Kinect down Xbox gamers' throats was pretty much the demise of the Xbox One Fat. Even though the Xbox One Fat did pretty good in sales, but it's still it's what caused this whole PlayStation onslaught right now. So and so they're basically just moving on from it. It's unfortunate because I do like the Kinect as well. I have the adapter, but I guess you had to have the Xbox One S in order for you to get that adapter for free.
Well, they started the program to get the adapter for free when the S came out. Now, I didn't get an S. I just looked at it like, you know what, when I get the X, then I'll put in for the adapter and all that good stuff. But by the time the X came around, they killed the program, man.
Oh, yeah, well, it's been a year though, Bot. So I understand that it's been a year. So if you wanted that adapter, then I mean, because it was going to be the same type of back end, just kind of like it was going to be the same input placing that you would have to use if you had the S when you transfer it to the X. So it's one of the things I understand the frustration. The Kinect can also be hooked up to your PC, so you can also use that with that as well. But I think that you have to have the adapter to do that as well. So so it sucks. But I mean, they gave you a year. And I mean, that is like, they just gotta move on. And somebody in the chat just said that you can go ahead and you can get the adapter for $30, which is ridiculous.
Dude, they should
because the Kinect is like 50. Yeah, but
that thing's going for like 150 on eBay right now. My shit's posted right now.
Are you serious? That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, damn, I need to probably get into that because I got 2 of them. But anyway, the one problem that's, I mean, it's unfortunate, and I mean, for people that snoozed on it, they just probably was like, well, anybody that still was still wanting to use their Kinect or got moved over to the S, so whatever, they should have already got it. I mean, that is unfortunate, but I as for me, I look at it as they just want to get rid of anything that's pretty much almost related to 2013, and the Kinect was one of the big reasons because of the $100 inflated price that kind of put the Xbox in a pickle. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right, even Fastback in the chat says he thinks that Xbox feels that most people got it with the S and it's time to move on. Now, I would agree with you, but like my whole thing is, like I said, I held out for the X, and I was using my Xbox One Elite that already had that hookup for the Kinect in the back of the system. So, when I upgraded, I expected to, get that adapter for free as well. And they cut it off. Like, I couldn't get that adapter when I got my Xbox One X. And to me, I kind of feel shafted when it comes to that. I don't feel like they did gamers a service with this. And I see a lot of people just kind of rolling over and saying, well, there wasn't a lot of people using the Kinect and stuff like that. And it's like, if they're reestablishing themselves with the gaming community and they're trying to kind of earn back trust and stuff like that when it comes to certain things that were said and done, throughout this generation, then it shouldn't matter how big that gaming community is or how small it is. You should kind of do what needs to be done for those people who invested in this thing, in the beginning of this generation. And that's how I feel. So I don't know. Don, what do you think about this news with the Kinect, man?
All right, I'm right with you on this one, Bot. I am terribly disappointed for a couple different reasons, right? Kinect is one of my first major canceled projects, right? That I got the green light, I was ready to go, I was ready to sign the paperwork, and then they pulled the Kinect out of the box. Therefore, the project I was going to work on was canceled, right? Okay. But that happens in the game industry, so I'm like, yeah, okay, let it roll over. I still like Xbox, and I like the features what the Kinect offers, right? It didn't work how it was supposed to out of the box. So, I had an issue with that, right? Mm-hmm. Calibration was a problem with the sensor in regards to that. But when it worked, it was awesome. It really was. And I enjoyed it when it did work. I bought games specifically for my my wife, she likes those motion sensor games, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, my wife doesn't have a wide variety of games that she likes to enjoy playing, but she likes playing those dance games and stuff like that. So if she can go out and go shake her thing and, you know, play some video games, I'm not going to complain, right? So, and I bought an S, right? I bought 2 S's, okay? I went to go to log into my account and go sign up for the adapter that we're talking about. I wasn't able to get it. So I'm like, huh, that's weird. Like, I literally bought it right when Madden came out. So I called up Xbox. They sent me a link. The link didn't work. I have never been able to get my connected adapter, and I bought 2 S's, right? Mm-hmm. We're going into the X. I just kind of put it off because she hasn't been wanting to play those games recently right now. And then I find out about this news, you know, because it's kind of was out of sight and out of mind for me. And I do want to reconnect the sensor because now there's actually some software I can use for mocap for faces.
Dude, they just gave away Zoo Tycoon not too long ago, and
for controller, right?
Yeah, it works for controller too.
Yeah, but that game, you don't understand. There's certain parts to that game, like you put like this certain kind of like feature in front of like one of the animal showcases, and with the Kinect, you can make faces, and you know that animal will kind of try to mimic you and stuff. There's so much more immersion with the Kinect, like, and
but that's what I'm saying. So that same camera, well, there's actually some new software that I bought into for Unreal Engine, where I can actually use a PC Kinect camera for mocap. For me, as an independent developer, that's huge, right? I can't afford a mocap studio. I have access to some in mocap studios locally in town, and that's more than what most people have when they're independent, right? But I can't go there every time. I have to schedule. I have to get permission. Got to make sure I'm not working on a certain project I'm not allowed to see. I have to go through all these steps, right? But to do all the facial animations, like, hey, I got 5 hours to burn today. I'm going to go through and do all my facial animations. The Kinect camera is something that you could do that with, right? Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to have to buy a new. It's cheaper for me to buy a Kinect camera for PC than it is to buy the adapter. I just sent everyone a link to Microsoft's page for Amazon. So Microsoft is the reseller, right? You want to know how much that adapter is selling for on Amazon right now?
How much?
$240.
$243.05.
And eBay is $350, close to $350.
So, like, you kind of have to, if it's your favorite platform, you have to call them out when they do bad, and you have to call them out when they do good. It's good that they offer that adapter for free for S customers, right? But Bot didn't have a need for the adapter. No. You didn't have a need for the adapter until you bought his new console, and you have Phil Spencer saying, no longer will your hardware can come with you. Not coming with Xbot. It's not coming with me.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is a fail promise. In regards, I know it's expensive for them to make the Kinect and all that sort of stuff, and I know why they gave it away for free. And so they did some good things, but like
they didn't see it all the way through. Basically,
yeah, they need to make it right for certain people, man.
I understand that the point. I get it, but this is the thing that you're missing is that. And fuck this. Fuck what console or whatever what product is. This happens with everything. With Apple, with Samsung, with every company. They do this. They give you a point. They give you an indication that they're about to discontinue something. And the writing on the wall was when they were stopping the development of making.
When they close all the fucking studios.
Yeah. Well, yeah, with the Kinect when they advertised it. We talked about it where there were no more Kinect game. There was no more Kinects being made anymore. That was the indication. Was like, well, man, that might be the time for me to go ahead and try to get this adapter. I know that you just kind of looked at it as swept under the rug.
The deal was already gone, and I would have had to go.
No, it wasn't. Not at that time. Not at that time. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
But it's no excuse when I couldn't get it.
No, it isn't.
I had 2 S's. I bought 2.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that situation, and I'm not going to try to defend that because that's wrong on their part for not getting what you got. But again, for the people that missed out on it because they wanted to wait, I mean, the writing was on the wall, And I waited like a week, and I said, "Oh no, I don't know when the Kinect is going to be done," because that was my first indication right there. Is when they brought the S, I was like, if it's not just fully compatible for the cord that came with the fat, I'm finna call Xbox to get this motherfucker now, and that's exactly what I did.
You can't turn down free shit. So like,
yeah.
Let me jump in real quick.
Well, I was just gonna say I didn't think it was even going to last that long. As long as it did, I thought it was going to be like a couple of months, and then they were done. Jack, they was going to start asking you to pay.
Pred, before you jump in, I just want to give a shout out to Gunny FPS in the chat. He's like, "You want to connect? We have a system." He's like, "Go buy a 360, man." And I also want to give a huge shout out to my brother Sub-Zero for supporting the show, supporting the channel. Dude, I did see what you did. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. So Predator, go ahead, man. Jump in. What were you about to say?
Okay, so they aren't really making any more Kinect games anyway. I get it for the voice commands and stuff like that, if that's something you're using. In your situation, when you came from the OG Xbox going up to the Xbox One X, I feel your pain because you never had an opportunity to pick this up. However, the thing was on sale somewhere at some point in time before they discontinued it. So
I want it
for $12.
Hold on. People invested in the S, which is the Slim. And guys, if you love that console, everything like that, good for you. But when it came down to it, I looked at the S, and then I looked at the X, and I was like, all right, premium.
You just wait, you just had to wait,
So,
and I'm not knocking you for that. I mean, because a lot of people did that too. But up until this week, when they announced they're discontinuing it, like you had an opportunity between when you picked up your X and when to buy it for $12.
Why am I getting hampered because I'm buying their
because you didn't buy an S console and get it for free?
Well, yeah, because
why are they getting that? Why are people who invested in the S getting the better deal when it comes to that? I'm already paying more money for the system. And you're going to take away that free adapter that
here's the thing. Here's what's going to happen.
That makes no sense to me, man.
Here's what's going to happen. I promise you, this is what's going to happen. At some point in time, if they haven't done it, I haven't used my Kinect in ages. If they haven't done it, they're going to stop people from using Kinect features on the X. You wait. It's going to happen because they're not supporting it anymore.
Then my channel is going to go nuts with videos talking shit about that.
And that's what's coming next because they're not supporting anymore. They're just slowly just taking little things away from you to get rid of the studios, to get rid of the Kinect, to get rid of the adapter. They're going to get rid of the support for it. And or, when you get rid of something, you typically replace it with something else.
Right.
So how is VR going to work on the Xbox One X without motion control?
The motion controls are tied to the head unit. So that's how
that's the replacement right there.
That's how Windows VR works, but it's still not a solution for what the Kinect camera does, right? It's not a Kinect camera is not a VR solution by itself, right?
No.
It's how they integrate it into that.
Because I think PlayStation uses a camera with their VR, so that's why I'm asking that question. I don't have an answer for it. That's why I'm asking.
But here's the crazy thing: is right, the Kinect sensor. As much as people love or hated the thing and how much hate it's got, that sensor
wasn't even deserved though, man.
But regardless, let's move on to a comparable thing, right? Apple just released their new phone, right? And it has a depth of field infrared camera. That's what the Kinect is. On the front of it. That thing is not even as high of a quality as your Kinect camera was 4 or 5 years ago, right? Obviously, size is part of the issue there, right? However,
size matters.
But it has motion tracking and all this other stuff. So, if you want to know what the potential of the Kinect was, and I hate to use Apple as a reference, but look at the new Apple phone, and that's some of the stuff you're going to see come from that phone is what the Xbox One could have done for you guys, right?
So it makes you wonder how many patents are inside the Kinect that are being used that Microsoft was making money off of.
I'm sure they're making money on Apple on that.
You're about to touch on something that I didn't get a chance to finish. I'll let you finish here in a second, Dom. But I think the Kinect was ahead of its time because you have devices out right now that do exact same thing that Kinect does. Alexa, Dot, all that other stupid shit like that. I've never used those.
Microsoft's downfall. If you ever want to know where the future's going to go, look at the thing that people hate on Microsoft for, and then it's going to happen, right? You take tablets for example. They were doing tablets before Apple was way before them. It was there was a ability to run it on Vista, right? And but no one gives them credit. Everyone gives Apple credit, right? So like you look at something that they do, and they may not execute the best at first because they're kind of a little quick out the gate. But it fails. But they came out with something. Expect 3 or 4 years. Someone else is going to pick it up and run with it, and then it's going to be adopted. So.
All right.
And I will say this one last thing, though. I think for something that was force fed us in the beginning of the year, we decided not to talk about anymore. That for them to like slowly pull back what we have now, a shell of the Kinect, is kind of disappointing. So like, in the beginning of this gen, we were kind of force fed. We have to have this Kinect for everything to work, and then boom, it's gone. That was like one of the things I really hated about the fact. That's the only thing I really hate about the fact they got rid of the Kinect, because they forced us to use it. They want us to have it so bad, and people bought it because we had to. And then they took it out of the box, and those other the fucking franchises are going to use the damn thing, and there's no games for it at all. Now there's no way to use it at all for the X unless you actually already have the adapter for it. So,
Dude,
the upside, the third party is going to have better stuff than what the Kinect camera was launched on the console 4 years ago. Like, so there is going to be better stuff down the road.
I don't think webcams can compare to what the Kinect is.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you're going to see that technology applied to that level as well, right?
Yeah,
they're using it as Star Citizen. I mean, like,
oh man,
the game that'll come out in 2025.
Before, just guys know, so before Microsoft bought the technology that made up the Kinect, which is actually a Zcam, back in the day, that was a webcam. That was all webcam. It was infrared, and it was depth of field camera and all that sort of stuff. But that was a webcam people were able to buy for PC. So it's just a matter of time before that technology is going to be released for other third-party vendors. So,
and then also I think that the Kinect is really going to be good for people that uses Mixer and they stream things like that. But that was one of the reasons why they included where you could just buy a face cam and then just apply it to your Xbox, because it's like what Fred said, is that they're going to get ready to oust it. It probably won't be ousted until the time that the next piece of hardware comes out. But I think that the future's bright, especially with the VR, and then also the enhancements of what they're going to do with Upload Studio. It might not even be called Upload Studio by the time that whatever that they're going to do comes out, but I think it's all going to be tied in where they're still going to have some of these capabilities that the Kinect had, and use it for and just bring it out and just slowly do it the right way instead of how they did the Kinect 2 this generation.
Entice instead of force, right? I mean,
right.
That's the big thing, is you can never force a customer into a buying
Well,
decision.
I mean, I kind of don't like that. I kind of don't like saying force, because people still had a choice to buy.
No, you're 100% right, but
right,
the customer
but still
felt that way, right? Like
right.
That's the thing, is the customer felt that way even though they weren't forced to buy that hardware, and so because of that never goes well, right? You always get pushback. But when you're not forced a certain direction, then and you're enticed, people feel better about their buying decision. If it was the same decision they were going to do anyways, right? But if you make them feel like it's theirs, then the customer is going to be more adopting of that. So.
Right, and that's the thing about it. It's unfortunate. I mean, because I love the Kinect, I enjoy it for what it did, and then I just all of a sudden, because I don't know, I don't use the Kinect for anything. I mean, I'm gonna start streaming, and I might start using the Kinect then. But still, I don't know. But it's just that. I'm sorry that you guys didn't get the cords, but I mean, damn, man.
You sound like you're saying that with a forked tongue right now. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry you didn't get the cords, but you had like a year to do so.
Yeah.
Man, I tried. I mean, I could have bought it, right? Like, but when you feel like when you were promised something you weren't given it,
right? Yeah.
You kind of. And it's not like it wasn't even about the money. It was like the principle of the matter, right? Like, I didn't make a big deal. I didn't go on Twitter and say, guys, like, I didn't do that, right? That's not how I go about it. But you still feel a little slighted. And I'm like, okay, I'll just pick it up when I'm a little less slighted, right? And the next thing I know, I just didn't think about it, and it's gone. And hell, I mean, if I got two Kinect adapters for the two S's I got, I would have someone to buy, right? Like by now, because I only have one Kinect camera, right? So, but they just they weren't good on their promise on that one for me. That was a bummer.
Before we kind of wind this down, well, Dark has been really quiet. I don't know what's going on with him. Like, we got everybody chiming in here and stuff like that, and Optimus is just like, Connect. I don't care.
What is
That's
this?
because I fell asleep while you guys were talking about this.
Dude,
trash.
that was a great discussion right there, man. Before we get your thoughts though, I do want to give a shout out to So Shady in the chat. He was like, I bought an X at launch, and to have them give away PUBG for free with the X only a month later, then he was like, too bad. Get over it. He's like, you win some, you lose some, being a day one adopter. And Shady, I agree with you. I did get a Project Scorpio Edition X as well, and when they announced that PUBG, they were throwing PUBG in there, I was actually happy for people who went and got the X, after that fact, because now they get, basically one of the hottest games that's on Xbox right now. I didn't really care about that. Now, what I'm talking about is, all right, they had two new systems. They had the S and the X, and when the S came out, they had a program to get the free adapter for the Kinect. So why the hell did they not do that with the X and then top it off at the end of the day? That's what I'm saying. For people who stuck with the Fatboy Xbox One until the X came out for, kind of like the premium console, why the hell didn't they just have that program, through a certain amount of time when the X came out as well, and then call it a day? That's what I'm saying.
Well, you can take it even a step further than that. Like, okay, whatever, you win some, you lose some. Like, it's wait, we're So Shady's saying something, right? But the issue is you're not left with a choice now. The choice has been made for you, right? So, like, if you want a PUBG, you can get it now, right? Like, that's the difference, right? If you early adopt, you can still buy PUBG. Mm-hmm. But the adapter, the issue is you're not able to really get the adapter without being like gouged. And that's where I think it becomes a sore spot for people in regards to that. So I mean, I can see not getting it for free on the X. Like, I totally get it. But the not being able to have the option, that one kind of hurts. It's like having keeping your phone for 4 years and not being able to get a power cord for it. That you can definitely do that today with any phone. I mean, you can still get a way to charge your Razr phone these days, right? Like, but you can't connect your Kinect camera to your Xbox that you're supposed to carry with you.
You know what? Yeah, I love you, So Shady, but screw you, man.
What did he say?
In the nicest way possible. He's like, the free adapter was only for the early adopters of the S. Simple. He's like, you win some, you lose some. You know what? Fine, man. I will roll with you on that.
I mean, look. This is the one thing. Just think about this. When everybody was the early adopters of the original Xbox One, not even 5 months later, they dropped the price of the Xbox One and let you get Titanfall
games and shit.
Right, yeah, and like
that was a fucking sticker.
Yeah, and other people were getting upset. Like I'm like, no, this is exactly what it is when you are the first adopters of that. Listen, you brought up Apple.
Check this out. Joke's on them, because I was gonna get Kinect Sports Rivals again, and I don't have an adapter right now, so I'm not buying that game again.
And that's fine, and that's on Microsoft. And
I wanted to play. Yeah, I love that rock climbing, man. To be really honest.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, you got to look at it from those standpoints. I mean, and then the point that you was making with Apple. Remember what Apple changed the whole charging system, and then you had to use different peripherals for your headsets when they signed up with Beats and all that shit. That I mean. It's the same thing, man.
But you can buy those adapters today. That's the difference. You can still buy those adapters.
The new iPhones
Chinese
come with the jack adapter
will make a damn
in the
adapter.
box, yo. They don't. Yeah. They come with that jack adapter in the box for those phones. So even Apple is giving away the adapter for free on their new phones, man.
You should know what you look. There's a difference from free. From just you slow playing, man. I mean, you slow played. I mean, look, I feel bad for Don. I feel more bad for Don than I do for you. You had your opportunities, and you had your opportunities, bro.
You can get an Xbox One Fat for like $50 somewhere. I'm sure.
You know what's funny? It's cheaper for Xbox to buy a Fat than it is to buy an adapter so you can play his Kinect games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yo, that's insane. Yo, Dark Man, what do you think about this, dude? Chime in, man.
He's like, move on. Next question.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I let you little girls, get out all your frustrations about the connected adapter and all that stuff. You
I heard it.
You're just jealous because you can't use a connected adapter in Igloo.
No, that's true.
Just not compatible. It's not compatible with ice.
No, honestly.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I knew it was coming.
I'm a little honestly,
I think to myself, it's the principle of the matter. I think you guys have something there where you guys are talking about like, you guys should have gotten the adapter, even when the X was launched and stuff like that. You should still been able to get the adapter and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's the Kinect. Who gives a shit, man?
Oh, you know what? Screw you, Dark.
I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care, man. Like
I was about to ask Bot, what the hell is he using it
was
for?
Never.
Anyway, like
it was. Yo, check this out.
It's like what
check
do you
this out. Andy in the chat. He's like, Andy in the chat said, let's start a petition for Xbot to get an adapter. Basically, from Phil Spencer, dude. If we get that, I will live stream Kinect Rivals. I will do the rock climbing. I will do the bowling. If you want me to live stream like a dancing game, I will do that, man. If we could get that adapter in this house where I am not paying whatever money they're saying, then let's do that, man. I am down. I will live stream Kinect games, and hopefully you guys will be happy for that. That's
people don't understand how crazy of a promise that is. You're missing teeth.
Just a few.
I have the utmost respect for you, Bot.
A few key ones too, man.
For keep on, letting the Kinect live on. But dude, this shit needs to die.
Oh,
I'm telling you, in the news and in all that other stuff, this stuff needs to just die. Like I don't want to hear about the Kinect no more.
Wow, see, and that's what Xbox is listened to. Because there were people.
That's why he likes Persona 5, guys.
Oh shit!
So don't game gift Dark Arter games. Let's just send our old Kinects to him.
Yeah.
Stockpile it and do out.
Oh, man. Yeah, until he gets that adapter.
You know what? That's the thing. I get you guys. It's the principle of the matter. But it's like it's just too much. We've heard too much about the Kinect. It's 2018 needs to die. Just let it.
Well, it doesn't need to die, but if you're not down with it, man, I understand. So you know what, Dark?
It needs to die.
You're gonna take the number one spot on this next topic. I'm coming to you on this next topic.
Okay.
And it's gonna be
That's
Nintendo,
fine.
guys. Nintendo has come out and basically, released information that the Switch is the fastest selling console in the United States within its first year. I'm a little skeptical on this. First of all, they called it a console, but I'll get into my thoughts a little bit later on. I want to hear what you guys think about this. Why is this thing, like, I guess you could say on fire its first year, and why, why are people going crazy? Because at launch, it was the Zelda machine. That was the only game that really came out with this thing, and people just went out there in droves and started picking this up. So, Dark, first year of the Switch, why is it so successful? And do you think it has the longevity? Do you think it's going to sell like this, like throughout its lifespan? And why? Why are people buying this thing right now?
It's not only successful because of the fact that Zelda came out. Yes, in the beginning it was successful because of Zelda. That was the first like little run of games. You got to remember, like, Mario Kart. You know, yes, Mario Kart 8 is a port of the Wii U version.
Hold on. If the Xbox One came out with only like even oh man, I can't say Halo because it would have sold with just Halo. But
you gotta think about Super Mario Odyssey that just came out. You gotta think about
months later,
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You gotta think about all these other games that that's where they got most of their sales was during the holiday season. I guarantee that.
Okay.
I guarantee that most of those sales were during the holiday season because I went to Best Buy after the holiday season. I didn't see no Xboxes. I didn't see no Nintendo Switches. All I saw was PlayStation 4. So that tells me something that these consoles are selling because
well, the fact that can also tell you they don't have supply. I mean, it could be two different.
They had dude. They had a ton of supply at around the holidays, and then like after the holidays, there was none at all. Like,
but I mean, I can go locally where I was at. I've never been able to not find a Switch. That being said, even the X too, even the X where it sold really well its first month, I've always been able to find an X.
You can't find them around here.
So supply is a different thing than actual sales, right? Like you can't use what's in a like kiosk to judge like how well something's selling, because I think didn't they not connect, but the Switch have a low where supplies were an issue with
their first supplies when they first went to the stores and stuff like that, they were getting like maybe 6 in 4 like it was really low. But Nintendo is known to ship like really low amounts, and somehow it creates that hype and that demand that the second shipment that comes in, people are waiting in line at GameStop and stuff like that, even if there's one game available for the system. Then it's crazy.
Well, it's because it's Nintendo, man. People love Nintendo. They remember it from when they were
Nintendo during the Wii U era. Let's be real.
Well, that's because a lot of people they didn't market that well. That let's be honest, that console was not marketed very well. It was the people thought it was an adapter to the Wii. When you call something a Wii U, you kind of have to. It was really the name, what they called it. If they called it something else, if they called it like, Switch, like they did with this one, people probably would have invested in it more, and stuff like that. But, yes, it was an inferior console because it didn't have, the multiplats and stuff like that. But the
Wii U was a decent console, man. Like I think
it is.
People don't give it its credit. Like it didn't register the way the Wii did, and if anybody thought that the Wii U was going to sell like the Wii, you're fucking crazy, because the Wii it grabbed onto grandmothers and kids and like all manner of like casual gamers as well, and there's no way they were going to hit that twice in a row. Yeah.
So Dark, are they saying it's sold faster than their Wii?
I don't think they were talking about that. I think they were just talking about like
just calendar year.
Fastest, just in calendar year.
Okay.
But I think at the end of the day, I think it will slow down. Honestly, I mean, I know.
I think it's going to slow down this year. To be really honest with you, man,
it'll slow down simply because of the fact that it's kind of an inferior console in a way, because it doesn't have it has multiplats, but sometimes the multiplats aren't that good on it. The only ones that have been pretty good have been the Bethesda ones, things like that. I mainly pick up.
Hold on, my bad. But Skint Eastwood in the chat said the Switch was the 5th biggest electrical device last year.
Yeah.
Well, that's insane.
Well, that's the thing. It's because it's a very portable console. It's not.
There you
go.
See,
I know
I was waiting
to
hear, Dark. You said a portable console, and guess what? Consoles, at the heart of being a console, aren't portable. It's a handheld. All right, and see, that's where this is where my thoughts and opinions come in on here. I feel like this is so hot because it is in fact a handheld. Yes, you could plug it into your TV, but if you go and you search like statistics, people who only use the Switch one way, the majority of those people are using it as a handheld. I feel like Nintendo is becoming the handheld gaming company.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
No,
there's nothing wrong with them doing that. But I like it being a hybrid, being able to put it onto a TV.
Not really a hybrid, man. I could
but,
plug an iPad into my TV, man.
Right, but then your iPad's a hybrid too, because then you can just like the Switch. But you actually need the dock in order to put it onto your TV, so you can't like.
I like how Dark is standing his ground. Keep going, Dark.
Doesn't. It's like the Switch. Like there's some games I won't play handheld because they just don't register well handheld. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you can't play that handheld. That's more of a game you play on your TV because of the fact that you want to be able to see the world, you want to be able to see like, the mechanics of the game, things like that.
Don, I think he's falling apart.
You really
want
to be immersed into the story.
What is he doing?
I think he's falling apart here.
Falling apart.
Yeah.
Am I falling apart?
You lost me as Xenoblade.
What?
We're losing Dark. We're losing.
What's a Xenoblade?
Okay. Well, then let me put it into retarded terms for you guys. All you have to do is get Zelda, Legend of Zelda. If you play that, like that's not a game.
Dude,
you
I
can
played
really
it on the
play
Wii U. I played Zelda on
you
the
can
Wii
play.
U.
You could kind of play Zelda handheld, but it's more.
That's not the universally accepted Zelda title. That title is very niche as far as Zeldas are concerned.
Oh wow! You about to get them started,
dude. Michael Lugo.
Like, as somebody who's played a lot of Zeldas and stuff like that, as soon as you add a cinema bar, which is they have to try new things, and that's what Nintendo does, right? But it's a very controversial Zelda game. I don't think people that like Zelda don't always like that Zelda game.
You talking?
Some people love it.
You talking the
right,
newest one?
But you're talking about
newest one, yeah.
That is
you're talking about what people you're talking about other things besides what I'm talking about because I'm talking about. This
turned into the Attack Dark Optimus episode.
It has because it's like I'm trying to get across the point that the game.
He's angry.
A lot of the games you can't play, handheld. You kind of have to put them on the dock and put them on your TV to really experience.
But that's the niche.
The world.
That's kind of like the niche to the Switch, though, and I think that's me personally. I think that's the reason why it's selling so much. Nintendo, they are great at handhelds. When you look at the 3DS, the whole DS lineup, and I feel like they're not going to go back to that traditional console. I feel like they have their foot. They have kind of like. They've molded their own area in gaming, and it's not a bad thing, but I have a few YouTuber friends, I'm not going to mention any names or whatnot, but they're telling me how great a console the Switch is, and I don't see it as a console. I don't see it necessarily as a hybrid. At its core, it's a handheld. So I
understand.
You put Nintendo and handheld together, right? But you put it with, it's a more powerful version that can run even like Doom to a certain extent on it as a handheld, and that's something people want, and I feel that's why it's selling, and not for the fact that it's a quote-unquote console. I feel like it shouldn't be in competition with Sony, with Microsoft, with Xbox. It's not necessarily a console. That's how I feel about it, man.
But here's the thing, like a lot of time I use mine not handheld, and I've seen a lot of people in the chat that don't use a handheld. So I mean, to say that it's not hybrid is not correct either, because of the fact that you have to have the dock in order to use it on the TV.
Well, I will create a dock for the iPad. Okay, I will make a dock. It's gonna have the same wire that you would plug into the TV to play your iPad.
It's all because I said the Kinect adapter was shit. That's the only reason why.
Xbox dock is going to be a Trapper Keeper. That stood up.
Dude, the Trapper Keeper with the Ferrari on it that looked like it had the picture from Hawaii. It was like the computer graphics. I actually had that in like 5th grade. But anyway, Mega, I want to hear what you think about this, man. It's always interesting. I know, you play the PS4, and you're talking about getting the Switch. I know Mrs. K Mega out there, she wants you to get it. So why do you feel this thing is selling so much, and do you think it's gonna last, man?
Man,
good question, right?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So, I mean, really. Anyway, man, I really do think that it's really fascinating about that it's selling off the shelves like this. But I think overall, it's going to get caught up into the competition of when the PlayStation 5 and when the new Xbox comes out, and then for whatever else that maybe want to try to come and compete. It's just that it's that secondary, even the secondary console, maybe even that third option to play some Nintendo games. I think it will last longer than what the Wii did, but it won't do as well as the Wii. I just think that it is what it is. Nintendo is wanting to combine both the handheld community and the console community and blend them in, and people are eating it up right now. But over time, when these games start coming and people will start seeing these games being played on their PlayStations or Xbox, and they're going to perform better and work better. And of course, when the X drops down in price, that's going to hurt it in sales as well. And then the Pro is going to drop down in price. That's going to hurt it. So I just look at it as it's I think 2018 is going to be its biggest year because it's going to have a full year to sell. But after that, I think it's going to slow down a little bit.
I don't want the chat and anybody who watches the show afterwards to get it twisted. I really like what Nintendo has done here. I just don't like what people are labeling it as, because I don't think that the label that people are putting it up there, which inherently puts it into competition with Xbox One, with PS4, PS5 when it comes out, Xbox One 2, or whatever the hell you want to call it, puts it in competition. When you call it a console, you're putting it in that category, which makes it competitive with those things. And I feel like what Nintendo has done, like I call them that kind of like that crazy cousin that sits in the corner, plays with blocks, does his own thing, and it's like that cousin kind of hit the lotto. So he's still gonna do his own thing, but now he's doing his own thing with a stack of money underneath his ass. You know what I'm saying? I think what they did was good.
That's where I stack my money, just so you know.
Yeah, I kind of figured that down. But I think what they're doing is good. It's just that I have a hard time with kind of like what the community is labeling the Switch as, because I feel like at its core, it is a handheld, and that's not a bad thing, guys. I would love to see this handheld like sell incredibly. I mean, they have good titles out. They're coming with a new Metroid, which I'm hyped about. I need to actually see what the game looks like first. But there's a lot of like good things going on with the Switch. But to me, it's not a console. Predator, what do you think about this, man?
I'm not gonna touch the whole console handheld thing. It's a hybrid. I'll look at it that way. I do.
Hybrid.
You're
gonna make me cry, Predator.
Yeah. I will say I do use it more as a handheld than I actually use it docked. But I won't lie to you, dude. I got it. I was hyped about Zelda. I was hyped about Mario. But after those two games came out, I'm like, okay, why do I still have this thing? So like it's been sitting in the drawer.
That's why.
That's just sitting in the drawer. And I get like if my kids were like, and this is a really fucked up part. Like I got it for my kids, thinking they'd use it. My oldest daughter, she uses it. She loves Zelda. She's a huge Zelda fan. I wouldn't take that away from her. I ended up getting 2 Switches, right? Mm-hmm. I got one for my house here. I got one for my daughter that lives in Florida. So she's got hers. She's got Zelda. She's got Mario. All the regular suspect games that you would expect most kids to get. But my kids here, they won't touch it. I mean, they won't even like. Well, like, you want to take this with you on this road trip? Nah, I'm good. I'd rather just draw pictures or something. But like, they rather play on their computers or something, like their little tablets or whatever. But like, they're just not into it. And I think the biggest selling point with this is like you have a lot of people who remember Nintendo, right? Back, like, you take people my age, like in our upper 30s, lower 40s, who remember Nintendo back in the day. And those are the people who are probably picking this console up. It ain't the kids. It's fun for them to play with.
And
maybe
you're trying to give it to the kids as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly. I'm in that category. I picked it up because I enjoyed it as a kid. I wanted my kids to enjoy it. But you know what my kids are playing right now? They're playing PUBG. They're playing what the fuck? Everything on Xbox, basically. Everything on PlayStation, basically. All the hardcore games. My kids are not punk ass gamers, man. They're playing hardcore games. They don't want to fuck with Mario. I don't know what the fuck Mario is. They missed the whole Wii U phase. They missed the whole what the fuck was it? The Wii phase. They didn't play Mario then, so they don't know what it is. But they know what Call of Duty is. You know, they know what that is. So like they know what Minecraft is. You know, and I know it's on the Switch. But like it's like.
Fred, before you continue, I just want to know how old are the kids again? Just throw it
15.
out.
15 and 13.
15 and 13. I can definitely see that. My 14-year-old, he actually just got a gaming PC, but he's been playing PUBG on his Xbox and stuff like that. One of the 10-year-old twins in the house, he's actually into Fortnite, the Battle Royale in Fortnite. And then the other twin, Seth, he's the one who's been playing Zelda on the Wii U, like, to an insane amount. So... I mean, it's varying over here, but we have the 10-year-olds. They're definitely different personalities. But you can see one 10-year-old is he's inching himself more towards the PUBG stage with playing Fortnite. You know, it's kind of similar, but yet still has that cartoony aspect to it. But like I said, my 14-year-old, he's all about that PUBG life right now. Like,
yeah, I mean, and it's not a bad console / hybrid / fucking handheld, whatever you want to call it. It's not. You know, for what it does well. Mm-hmm. There's some things missing from it, but like I think Mega said this, I think it's going to slow down at some point. They did good this generation. I mean, the beginning of the year, getting it out, getting it sold, you know, making the profit off of it they wanted to, but like I think it's going to fall the same fate that the Wii U did.
You think it's right now they're getting that far down, man?
Right now they're getting support. They're getting third-party support. But look at it this way, okay? Are you going to pick up, let's say, what's the next hot fucking AAA? Monster Hunter, right? Mm-hmm. Are you gonna pick that up on the Switch? Or are you gonna pick that up on the Xbox?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna pick it up on the Switch if I can.
We're not talking to you.
I'm talking about you, Dark.
But I mean, okay, out of most of the gamers out there, with the exception of Dark, most people are gonna pick this up on their heavy hitter because I'm like they're not gonna use it on the Switch. Now, I think the thing about the Switch, I know they're trying to do this crossplay thing with a lot of the other consoles and stuff like that, specifically with Microsoft. But like, if I have the option to pick it up on my Xbox or pick it up on my Switch, I'm gonna pick it up on my Xbox because it's gonna look better, it's gonna play better. I have friends, I have an online community that works there.
But you're not really a portable gamer either, right?
No, I'm not. And even if I was a portable gamer, I would still rather get their exclusives on the Switch. And if I get multi-plats, I'm getting them on my Xbox.
I got you. Now, Dark, when Predator said Monster Hunter, you said you're sure as hell you're going to get it on the Switch. Like, why would you pick it on the Switch over?
It's not even coming to the Switch, dude.
Oh, Monster Hunter's not? I didn't even know that, not. Man.
Like, I thought it was. I'm sorry.
No, it's not coming to the Switch. It's only on Xbox and PlayStation.
Because the Switch can't push out those graphics, man.
That's probably true. You know that, and you know, like with what Pred said, you know, with the games, like multiplats, I understand, like, people, like, you're not gonna buy it on a Switch. Like, I'm not gonna buy any of my multiplats on the Switch. The only thing I'm defending it for is its exclusives. Like, it's gonna have some really awesome exclusives, but you know,
Dark,
it's
because you know more about this than maybe like all of us here. I'm looking at this year when it comes to the Switch as kind of like a very important year, because you know you had your Mario, you had your Zelda, you had your Mario Kart last year, right?
Right.
What's coming up this year that'll, you know, in terms of exclusives, that'll get people to buy the Switch more?
Honestly, I think you know, since a lot of people didn't pick up the Wii U, and I know this is probably the exception to the rule, is Bayonetta 1 and 2 being on the Switch. That's kind of a little bit of an exclusive that's coming, you know, early this year. But there is also, you know, there's also games that we don't know about.
I would say Metroid's not coming out
as
this
well.
year. That's for damn sure.
Like Metroid's not coming out. Bayonetta 3 is not coming out for sure this year. But I think
if they have their what's that, the eShop, if they have the eShop that has some of the older games on there, like not this old super old shit, but like some of this, like
George, I'm not hating on Nintendo. Like I just said, I am glad that they're selling. I am confused by the fact that everybody's just accepting this as a console. Like when you take that dock off of it, it's a handheld, guys. At its core, it is a handheld, and I think. I know Nintendo called it a console, and they said it's a hybrid and all this good stuff. At the end of the day, us gamers, we got to show that common sense out there and call it for what it is. And at its core, it is a handheld. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, all right? I'm just saying that they put themselves in their own category where they didn't put it where they're competing with PS4 or Xbox or anything like that. So why are we inherently trying to put it there as well? It's selling great as that handheld. That's what it is, guys.
I mean, I'm honestly not putting it in the realm of Xbox and PlayStation 4. Like, and there's no way that game's that game. You know, I'm not gonna ever say that the Switch is like, you know, comparable to the Xbox or PS4. There's no way it's gonna happen. I mean, yes, you know, a lot of people who are saying that they love the game, love the system, they're playing exclusive games. They're not playing the multiplats. Unless it's like maybe like Skyrim, if you really want to go back and play that again, or maybe Doom. But I mean, like it's cool to have those games on the go, but like at the end of the day, you're really going to be playing the exclusives on that console, and a lot of people know that, and I think even the developers know that, and that's why there hasn't been like an onslaught of like, you know, a ton of you know, multi-plat games coming out for the Switch. There just hasn't been, you know.
Well,
like
I don't think there's really going to be a ton of like third party or multi-plat, but I think there are a few out there, you know, Doom being one of them. Like there's going to be a few that come over, and I think Doom was actually really good because, and here it is again, right? Anybody who has the Switch as a secondary kind of like gaming device, if they have Doom on their PS4 or their Xbox, the first thing that they thought about when Doom went to the Switch was like, oh my goodness, I could take Doom with me on the go, handheld.
Exactly.
That's what it is, man. That's the niche, yeah.
That's the thing that drives people to kind of somewhat go out there and buy it. But I think, you know, look at Monster Hunter World. Like that's not even coming to the Switch, and that's basically.
Sir, you are botting right now, and there's only one bot on this show, man. So I don't know if you want to step out and come back, or I think we totally lost Dark. Yeah, we have totally lost Dark. I don't know. Anybody else want to chime in on this, or do you think we've kind of like milked the dead horse here?
We've milked it.
We've milked it. Well, I don't know. There is something that the Don brought up in the topics that I actually do want to talk about, and First, I want Don to explain what he wanted to talk about when it came to this topic, and then kind of fill it out. Because what we're going to go in on now is kind of like gaming etiquette when it comes to like party chats, when it comes to like sportsmanship on, you know, Xbox, PS4, or whatever. And I when I saw what he put, I thought about, well, is the community getting better or worse? Because I remember going through the 360 and points in time where I did kind of mess around with Call of Duty or something like that, or hearing Snap's horror stories when she actually put herself on voice chat on the 360 with games like Call of Duty. Like, I thought more about like whether or not the community is getting better or worse, but there's also been this like huge influx of people adding, like me, Snaps, adding us to their friends list, spamming us to join parties and play games. even though we're playing a different game at that time, getting people completely frustrated with what's going on. I know, oh snaps, I felt so bad for her today. There was one person that just kept spamming her to join a party, and I think to play Minecraft. Join a party, play Minecraft. And she was trying to play PUBG. So she was trying to listen for footsteps, everything like that. And I feel like all the spamming actually caused the game to crash as well. And like, she got so frustrated, she put the controller down, and she was like, yeah, that's it for the day. I'm done. And she was really frustrated. So, Don, what were you talking about in terms of like the kind of like gaming etiquette, and where did you want to go with that? And maybe we can like fuse these things together, man.
It wasn't anything in particular. Like, I just noticed, I don't know if it's like getting worse or better or anything like that. I just think sometimes people don't think, right? It's about having like manners, right? When it comes to gaming, right? We all enjoy something. We all want to come together. We all want to play. And you know, I like playing with people that we listen to the podcast and stuff like that. I know that all of us have full-time jobs, so we really can't play with everybody in the community at any given point in time, just because there's not enough time in the day. Mm-hmm. Things like that. But you know, party chat, for example, where you keep spamming someone, like that's not cool. Like, don't do that. Don't be that guy, right?
That guy.
You know, don't be the guy that's in a party chat conveying your insecurities about someone else's gamer score, right? And trying to call them out on that shit, right? Where they're just sitting there playing a game and want to have a good time with their buddies, right? Mm-hmm. I've noticed those sort of things too, like where like the kind of people want to puff themselves their chest up, like when they're in the party chat. You don't have anything to prove. We're all playing games together, right? Like it's small things like that that are a big deal. Like going through someone's, like, I've done it as a joke and stuff like that, but literally like being so obsessed about a certain person and then going through their gamer score and what they've played and how far they've gone through. I mean, I've done
about the people that troll K Mega, because they've done that quite a lot.
But I've been in parties with K Mega and I've seen that, right?
That's like mostly like my accounts, you know.
Yeah, but
accounts.
Dark's trolling you, Mega. It's Dark the whole time, man.
It is what it is, man. I don't really care about
it. But you know what I mean. Like it takes away from having fun with your friends in a party chat, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's those sort of things that they're kind of, you know, just bad form, right? I mean, as a gamer,
just weirdos, man. You just got to watch out for weirdos.
Well, but they're going to be out there. But I think sometimes people, when they do that sort of stuff, they don't realize what they look like to others, right? Because everyone's trying to be polite to them, and they don't realize that they're acting a fool. So, I mean, I know everyone's got their experiences. That was just kind of get the conversation started. You know, what are good etiquette when it comes to gaming with others, parties, game invites, that sort of thing. You know, when a party's locked, do you know the guy well enough to ask him to pop in or not? Like, how do you go about it, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I was gonna say, if you want, I'll just give my opinions and kind of some things when it comes to me personally, like on Xbox Live or on the kind of like rare occasion when I'm on PlayStation Network. First things first is I'm becoming kind of like known as one of like the more accessible YouTubers out there, and I'm not gonna change that. All right. So when people actually do get into a party with me, I'm like, you know, if I'm playing a game that you're down to play or something like that, I usually have my parties are open. So if you want to come in and play, if we have room, you jump into the party. I'll let you know if we have room or anything like that. A lot of times I will get spammed with join my party, play my game. Usually if I'm playing a game, I'm not really going to switch off and play something else. Spamming does not make me want to play a game with you more or join your party more. It'll actually mean a lot more if you just like send me a quick message, letting me know, like, you know, either how you know my gamer tag, where you kind of and what you might want to do in the future in terms of gaming. That will catch my attention more than spamming me. If you spam me, you're just going to end up getting blocked. And we both might miss out on, being some gamer friends there that go in and play a game and get stuff done. So spamming does not help. And that is a huge thing. Lately, I don't know what's going on, but I've gotten yeah, I've gotten so many friend requests and so many people with parties and asking me to play Fortnite, the Battle Royale to Fortnite. I don't remember when the last time I went into Fortnite was. I'm playing PUBG at that point in time. That's what I'm going to play. But when it comes down to it, we do get into a party. We do, get into games and stuff. Yeah, I want to hear your opinions on things. But as a whole, we're playing a game. So kind of talk about the game. Talk about what we're doing in the game. And don't let it become a whole gaming news thing. That's another thing with being a YouTuber. I'll get in on parties and people will just start talking about what's going on in the gaming news. And yes, I do want to hear your opinions, but when we're in the heat of battle in PUBG and there's only 8 people left, I don't want to hear your opinions about overall resolution at that point in time. I want to hear there's somebody coming from the northwest or there's somebody creeping up from the southwest. We got make sure we keep it about gaming first and foremost, and then everything else will kind of cater to themselves. That's kind of my things that I've been dealing with lately. So that's what I think. But go ahead.
Well, true story though. How I met Xbot was just a simple message on Xbox Live. That's how me and Xbox got to know one another. Mm-hmm. That's how I ended up on the podcast. We talked a little bit about doing Next before Next was a thing.
Yeah.
And you know what happened almost immediately afterwards? We played Halo together. We didn't talk about the podcast. We were playing Halo together because it's a game that we both really enjoy, especially the multiplayer. In regards to that, so that's the common ground. Is us as gamers, and as far as that's concerned. But I know everyone runs into things, and I'm just curious. I mean, we'll just go down the line. Let's go with K Mega. What are good or bad etiquette things that you just realize people just don't know any better sometimes? If they did know, do you think they would change their approach?
I don't know. I think it's rude when they see what you're playing. They see you playing a game, and then you get spam. Let's play 2K. Let's play 2K. Let's play Madden. Let's play Madden. Let's play Madden. And you keep it, and it makes me frustrated. I'm not even going to deal with you. Why are you? That's not going to get my attention. You see that I'm already playing a game, and then how I have it, if during my time when I get off work. Especially if it's late in the evening, I'm going to watch my Rachel Maddow. I'm going to watch my Chris Hayes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be watching my thing. And so I have my notifications cut off when people may have hit me up when I'm watching television.
I don't want to do that though, man.
No, I do. But no, I'm just saying I just have them off because I'm watching that, and I'm not.
You just have it off when you're watching television, but not necessarily.
Not when I'm playing games. No, just when I'm watching television. So it's because I want to be focused into what I'm doing, even if it's a sporting event or if it's like I said, my shows. And so it's I'll get it. Then every night that I unless if I got to go to work at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Every night after I get done with watching those particular shows, I'm on the game. I'm in there with 100 of them, and I have no problem with people hitting me up because if they hit me up, I'm going to hit them back up. And if you say you want to hit me 2K and I'm over here playing something else, and I say no, it's not that I'm trying to avoid or I'm scared of playing with you 2K because I'm really gotten bad at playing 2K. I need to practice actually, so it's all good. But that's the one thing of why I'm going to make a conscious effort to really start streaming and bring back the GRG game nights so we can start playing those games together and start having fun, because it doesn't matter to me if the only game that I really care about of whooping ass is Tekken. That's it. Anything else you can blast me about that. You know what I'm saying?
He might even stop watching Maddow for Tekken. You don't know.
Big shout out to Def Jam Bam understanding that true work when he got that Tekken ass whooping. Woo! woo. Anyway, so
that's not hard to do, dude.
Anyway,
that's like petty, like little, kind of shit, like Tekken is terrible.
One more thing I want to add here, and I think this will help out everybody on Xbox Live. Guys, the party chat is so crystal clear, you can hear everything. Guys, getting in a party chat is not the right time to bust out the corn chips and not mute your microphone, man.
Live wire. I am like, I got to mute him sometimes. And he better be glad that I'm not the host of the party sometimes, or it would be ejecto C. He'd be out of here. I'm like, live. Do you not understand? What's up, Mega? Man, you tripping, Mega. It's not that bad. I'm like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind here. So it's like, because I got the headsets on, and then of course you got that Noble Atmos. Oh my God, it's like, well, I'm like, oh man. So
for real, he is not like embellishing at all. It is that bad when you're eating like in our ear, for real, man.
I'm like, how are you even able to play game on your control? Your controllers must look like dog shit with just
greasy ass controllers,
just salt, they just all like but no, I do think that it's I love talking to the community. I always get back with somebody. Sometimes I might be a little bit late of getting back with people because if I'm working all day, I'm not even, sometimes I might be just vanished for a couple of days and not on social media at all. And then all of a sudden I might start getting back at people, for what's going on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. But, I love playing games with the community. It's just, what kind of games do you guys really want to play? Because I'm down for playing games. It's no big deal. But if you see me playing a game, like I've been playing The Witcher pretty much all day. I'm finna wrap it up here, and then probably get on something else. Now would be a good time tonight to hit me up and say, hey, if you want to play this, let's get on, and then let's do what we do.
Well, let me ask you this, K-Mag, and I think this will maybe apply to the rest of us here, right? So, when someone's spamming you, you're like, and you're in the middle of doing what you're doing, that's not the time, right? But if they send you a message, like, be cool about it, right? Say, hey, man, you want to play a pickup game of NBA 2K or, Madden or whatever, I will put forth the effort if I own the game to make some sort of time and play with that person, right? Like, at least that's how I approach it. I don't know if you guys would make the time to play with somebody if they just ask you politely.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we all want to play with you guys. Like, I think, and back to the loud mic thing, right? Don't put that damn mic in your nose hole. Like, where it belongs is just below the lower lip, right between the chin and the lower lip, right there. That's where the mic belongs, right? And if you have an Astro A50, man, just get a new headset. Those mics are so awful. Like, those are almost bad etiquette. They're so bad.
I think Don's getting picky, right?
No. I love Mooch. Mooch is a good guy and stuff like that. And I can always pick out what he's saying because he says so much. Like when we're in a party chat, right? So he just keeps on going, so I can make out what he's actually saying. But Mooch, man, your mic, it's not good. It's literally I hear it maybe 3 words, and then every 4th word it cuts out. Like, those headsets sound awesome. They're a great single player experience headset. Probably one of the best wireless headsets out there when it comes to that, but the mic's awful. And so it's just like when you're in, like, in these podcasts, right? You don't show up with a crappy mic. You don't stick your earbuds in, right?
I don't anymore.
But you know what I mean? Like that's bad etiquette, right? Showing off a bad mic. This is the same thing with a party, man. Make sure your mic's legit. Make sure your mic's in the right spot. Don't chomp in it. All that good stuff. I mean, I know that sounds kind of silly, but like if you're there in person, would you behave that way in someone's ear hole? And that's what you're doing. Yeah. When you're in a party chat, and I think that's it's one of those things. Like I think it just. No one means anything bad by it. Just people don't think about it, right? It's just
Shady called you the mic elitist.
I'm with Don though.
Mike Nazi.
Yeah. Yeah, I might be the Mike Nazi because I swear, because when Live get in there or Flip Money, he likes to get in there and late at night, and then next thing you know, I'm not understanding this too, because I know that Flip is from Philadelphia, so like he's out there where you at, Bot? Well, and that's on the East Coast, and it's maybe 2, almost 3 o'clock in the morning for me. So I know it's got to be close to 4, you know what I'm saying? A little bit after 4, somewhere around there. And then next thing you know, he wants to fix him something to eat. And I want to hear, yeah, Mega, and he's always talking about Star Citizen. Mega, man, what are you doing, Flip? I mean, do you got to eat breakfast on the mic?
Oh, man, I'll defend Flip a little bit, man. That boy's got high metabolism. You just gotta let that boy eat, but he just needs the mic. Yeah, I hear you, man.
He's starting to mute the mic, but Livewire is a damn problem, man. He's a problem. We have to start making positions. Yes, we got to start making positions to get the habitual pretzel, burrito, water running. He's always doing something with noise.
He'll be making lasagna when we're playing video games, man.
I know, what are you doing? I'm fixing something to eat. What's the problem? We're hearing pans clacking. What's going on? But yeah, much love to Livewire, man. Much love.
I will shout out to So Shady in the chat again. He's like, mute yourself when talking to other people in your house. Shady, I am guilty of, when me and O Snaps, when we talk to each other, sometimes it could be absolutely hilarious. And fuck you! For my people in the party, if I know it's about to get crazy, I will unmute my mic so they can hear what the hell is going on, because it just gets that funny. But yeah, I hear what you're saying on that as well. It's just sometimes I'm not going to do it, especially dealing with O Snaps. I need witnesses sometimes, man. Yeah, I need witnesses. Yo, but Pet, what do you think about etiquette in gaming? We gave examples and stuff like that. Do you have any examples? And do you think it's getting better or worse, man?
Okay, well, I have 2 issues. Okay, I am a proponent of, if you're playing a game, an online game, and you're not in a party, that you need to use your mic. So some games are specifically made for you to use your microphone, like a Ghost Recon, a PUBG, or something like that. If you're playing with a bunch of randoms, use your fucking mic. I mean, I hate the people who are sitting in parties all the time. Now, sometimes I'm not random. Maybe I'm that random guy that they picked up, but invite me to the party if I want to.
Invite me, man. I need to talk to you.
Yeah, so we can, so we can do some shit, But
for real.
But a lot of games I played, this generation specifically, they're 4-player games, or online multiplayer games, and maybe there isn't a party at all, but no one's talking at all, ever. And I'm like, what the fuck, So that's my biggest pet peeve. But then my second issue is when you do get in a party, let's say, and this has happened to me a lot recently. I'm playing PUBG, I got Mooch, I got the Dawn in there, and some random jumps in that he's not in the game. He just joins the party, right? And he wants to talk everybody's fucking ear off, or we're trying to strategize. He's that motherfucker in there yo, so what's going on, guys? What y'all playing? We're playing PUBG, man. We're we got 60 people left. Oh, okay. Oh, man, I'm sitting here playing The Witcher. Okay, you're playing a single-player game. We're playing a double, we're playing a multiplayer game. What do you want? Why are you here? I'm that asshole that would ask that question. Okay, well, but it's they're not trying to get in the game with us. They're just jumping in the chat, trying to have a conversation with us. But I'm a serious gamer, especially with fucking shooters. So I'm trying to strategize with my team, and then I got some random ass clown coming in here. They just wants to talk about football and talk about
gaming
cat
news,
bars,
man.
and
I get that. I get gaming news a lot, man.
I'm trying to game. I'm not trying to talk to you about games. I'm trying to actually play a game. So unless you want to jump in the game with me, get the fuck out of my party. I don't want to play. I don't want to have a conversation with you while I'm trying to help people.
Pred, I'm sorry about that, dude. I didn't mean to.
George Driver in the chat.
There's a few people that I don't really give a shit, because most of the YouTubers that we hang out with, the regular suspects, they may jump in. What are you guys doing? Okay, well, I'll jump in later. Hit me up and you got a free spot. And they jump in. If we ain't got room for you, jump out. But don't sit in there for 20 minutes while we're trying to play a game, just talking over us while we're trying to strategize. That's why I fucking hate that.
Doesn't that boil more down to kind of just read the temperature in the room, right? Sort of thing. Because some parties are there's like whatever, and then other parties are like what you're describing, where you're all about your business, right?
Yeah, and then sometimes they don't know. They jump in, and
Yeah.
so maybe they're trying to, like you said, they're trying to feel the water out a little bit, see how hot it is. But like, they don't jump out. They're like that guy that just comes over to the house that doesn't ever want to go home. Like get the fuck out of here, dude. We're going to bed at fucking 8 o'clock. Or like, you have people come in your house when it's like right before dinner time, and they don't leave. So like kind of like waiting. Like, oh, is this guy gonna leave or what? Like, like that's how they are. They come in there and they know we're playing the game, and we're not. No one's leaving. We've been playing like I've been playing with a lot of the guys from 4 Guys or Quarters lately. So like we're all playing together. There's not six. It's not a 6-man game. It's a 4-man game. And so we'll get somebody jump in there, and they're like, they'll just sit in there in the party the whole time we're playing. Maybe they don't even say anything. They're sitting there like this. What? Get out of here.
Yo, I joined one of your parties real quick. I joined it. I did a couple jabs against clowns real quick, and I was like, all right, well, if you got a free, if you guys get a free, if there's an opening at some point in time, let me know. I'll jump back in. And I jumped right out of the party. Yeah,
and that's cool. But some people, they're playing a completely separate game. Or what I really hate, like you have a party of like 15 people, and everybody wants to talk at the same time.
Oh, then you wouldn't like me and 100's
no, man.
I've been in there with you guys before. I can't even play a game with y'all. I'm just gonna watch TV and listen to y'all talk
deep, and we just talk about everything. But I do have to agree with you on that. And another thing that's really a problem for me is when people they want to demand that you have to play what they're playing, or the biggest problem for me, let me skip that, scratch that. The biggest issue is that, okay, I've done podcasts, right? We're just getting done to do the podcast. We get out, and then we jump in, and then people come into our party, and then they want to discuss podcast shit all night long. No, Jack, I don't want to do it. Sometimes I'm sayonara, I'm out. I get out the party, or I just put it on mute and just game and just let everybody talk, because I'm like, I've done enough of talking about that for that day or for whatever, especially if I've done a video and I've done a podcast. I'm done for that day. I don't want to get burnt out on this shit. I just want to talk about something else.
Yeah, I got you, man. Yo, I gotta say, huge shout out to my boy D Bizzle, who is somebody that plays a lot of games with me, plays PUBG, plays Destiny 2. But here's another thing. With what's going on with Destiny 2, my boy Bizzle will come in and join me in Destiny 2 and take out, our to-do list and everything like that. The entire time we're playing the game, he is telling me how Destiny 1 did this better, did that better, and Destiny 1 is better here, and Destiny 1 is better there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and why are you playing Destiny 2 right now, man?
Well, but that's the trap, right? And then you fall into it, and then you start talking to him. It's like, no, I don't see it. Just like, but now we're talking about the thing I didn't want to talk about, right?
and I love the dude like a gaming brother, man. You have no idea. Like he's a mad cool guy, and it's just like, dude, don't. He's the type of person. He'll say I really like Destiny 2, and he'll spend like that 30 seconds saying that, and then he'll spend a half hour telling me why Destiny 1 was better, though.
Well, it's important to know, like, we're not here to make other people feel bad about like anything, right? What we're really trying to illustrate is how can we get along better and have more fun, right? Bringing the fun back to gaming together, that social aspect of it. And I don't, there's so many things in life that it's like, good etiquette, right? That you're taught from either family members, whatever it may be, or you learn from watching others, right? And I think with gaming, people just want to just get wild and just, let their freak flag fly,
flag.
You know what I'm talking about. And sometimes, you forget the etiquette, you forget the manners, right? And it's about having manners and about having etiquette in regards to, because we want to constantly play with you guys. We really do.
Hold on, Don.
It's Saturdays.
Don, I just want to give a quick example real quick. Huge shout out to Michael Lugo. He is somebody who supports all these podcasts and everything like that. We started playing games together recently, playing PUBG, Destiny 2 and stuff, and he is a true gamer. He comes into the game thinking about the game we're playing, and we have fun within that. Like he keeps it about that, and we actually, he is like one of those people that I look for on my on my friends list when I start playing a game. Like, man, is Monkey Punch on? Like, I'm gonna invite him in there. So that's what I look for. But guys, I do want to say, after all this, like I said, I try to be as accessible as possible. And one of the things I run into with a lot of people that that I talk to eventually in a party is like, oh yeah, I saw you, you know, playing this, and I wanted to play, but I didn't want to join your party, or I felt weird joining your party. Dude, if I'm playing something that you want to play, and if there's a spot open, I am down to bring you into the party, like bring you into the game to play. But I won't know unless you jump in the party and say, hey, what's going on, Xbot? You know, dude, I want to get in on PUBG real quick. Do you have an open spot or something like that? If you do that with me, if there's an open spot, we're gonna go in. All right, don't feel like you can't just join my party if it's an open party. Join it, see if you can game with us, and then we'll go from there, man.
Well, that takes another thing. Take us at its word. When we say like our parties are open and come in at any time, some people try to be so polite. They try to be the other way, right?
Yeah.
They try to be so polite and they're like, oh man, I don't want to mess with you. No. If we say it's an open party and you come in any time, we mean it. Yeah. That's not just us, trying to save face. We really, truly do mean it. So, if Bot has an open party, I have an open party. I won't speak for everybody, right? But I know from at least me and Bot's perspective, if our party's open, hop in. Simple as that.
Yep.
DTF.
Yeah, I would say that for myself as well. Is that I see other guys playing games and I don't want to disturb them. Like I'll see Mooch and them play, and then I'll see Rand and them playing.
I will bug the hell out of Mooch. I don't care. I don't spam him. Yeah.
I've seen Pred and them doing anything, and now after hearing Pred, I ain't never fucking with you. So, but no, like I look and see. So it's refreshing when Don comes in, because a lot of people wouldn't expect Don to come in. With all of us, we talk about 100, Livewire, Flip, and then we got this dude named Tax, and just like Food Stamp, like that. It's a hood ass damn party. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Yeah, man. I'm like, yeah, it's a hood ass. It's hood, man. And then Don comes in there and starts saying, ha, 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 and then he'll say something crazy ass joke, and then everybody's laughing, man. Yeah, but it's wild, man. It's really cool when see Don and other people come in, because our party is mostly open until there's some kind of weird. Because there'll be some guy that will be playing Madden or something with Tax, and then like he'll have a friend come in and they'll do some weird shit. They get into wild shit, and we gotta lock it down.
Yo, Mega, you just reminded me, and I think this happened when we were in parties together as well. That one time where that one child comes in, like in a full-grown party, like, and there's one child, hi guys. How you doing? Like we were talking about some gully stuff, man. It's like
it was wild, man. I was like, "What? Whose kid is this? Somebody? What? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing?
You need to go to bed."
Yeah, man. Hi guys, what are y'all playing? Minecraft? No, bastard, take your ass to bed. Where's your parents?
Well, that also brings up another thing. Like sometimes people do game with like family and friends that are maybe a little bit younger. Read the token. Read the temperature in the room. So, some things are probably not okay to joke around, right?
Right.
Like be sensitive to that. In regards to that, because if you want to joke around, then start an adult party chat, right? So they don't have to feel like they're left out or kicked out. You know what I mean? Like. I've been guilty of that one too, like not really realizing that, but that's something that it does affect people.
I will tell the little guy, if the little person's like on my friends list or whatever, I'll be like, hey, what's going on, dude? Like, not for anything. I am down to play a game with you at some point in time, but right now this is more of an adult party, and I'm gonna have to ask you to see your way out. pretty quick. Like, hey, before you hear some things that'll traumatize you for the rest of your life.
I like you jumped in my party. I ain't jumping yours. So like, I ain't jumping on kid party. We jumping on adult party. You're gonna hear some shit you ain't ready to hear.
Right.
Oh man, King Mickey, you need to see what Brian Baker just said about me.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
Just look at the chat.
Minorities. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. You can come in there, Blades, and come. I mean, look, man, it's open to everybody. I mean, we have all types. I mean, because just it was last week. It was earlier. It was last week, I believe. It was me, 100, Mooch, and Operations. We was all playing PUBG, and we was all in the party, and everything was cool until we had a crazy spammer. His name was something. We had a weird name. It wasn't a normal night type name, and he just kept sending. He just kept spamming us, and then at that point we had to disband the party. And Blades was in there playing with us. There was another person that was playing with us that night, and they just kept spamming, so we had to disband the party and redo another party and lock it down. And that's so unfortunate because we do want to communicate and talk to everybody. Yeah, you know, and it's weird because sometimes I'll get hit up, and I guess I'll surprise somebody because they'll hit me up and I'll come in there and I'm say, hey, what's up, guys? And then they're like, is that him? I'm like, hey, what's going on? Yeah. And then nobody don't say nothing, and then I feel weird. Like, did they make a mistake?
Mega, did you ever get like you get a party invite that you never noticed, but you jump in anyway? You're like, hey, what's going on? And you're like, are you that YouTuber? Are you?
Yeah, it's weird. Like man,
which YouTuber are you talking about? No, I'm not Crap Gamer. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not.
No, I'm not Z. No, you know what I'm saying?
Well, if you guys don't mind if I interject on some of the stuff.
Wow, Dark does talk.
Because you guys kind of like were like, oh, you know what, Dark, he does a lot of this shit. And I'm just trying.
No, but we want to hear your.
Does a lot of this stuff.
No, we want to hear your take though on it for sure.
No, but you know the one thing is like when people come into a party. I dislike the most is when you're playing like you guys said, when you're playing a game and they're like, you know, like there's too many people in here, you know, like okay, well then leave. Like,
one less person, get the fuck out of here.
Like, come in, there's too many people in here.
Yeah, there's like too many people in here. Okay, well then just leave.
I'm sorry, I did not know you were the party chaperone. Like,
yeah, like. It's just it's crazy, man. And then as well when people come in there and make like some of the most retarded jokes of my entire life. Don.
No. Are you saying I am a joke or my jokes are awful?
Don, it's about time to block Dark on Xbox Live, man.
No, when Don comes into a party and he just starts, you know, making those like silly like white. It's hilarious, you know. I'm just like, I just start laughing because
I heard it play. I said white, and then you cut off like those silly white. It's just hilarious.
He's still there, Dark.
He's done. He's gone, man.
Come back to us. Yeah. Well, you cut out for a bit.
Oh, geez, like it's probably because somebody's on the fucking internet. But I have to say, like, you know, this kind of like. The proper etiquette for coming in a party, just come into the party and just you know talk. Don't talk about crazy shit, you know, like don't talk about like, you know, what we talked about on the podcast and stuff like that. Like I don't ever really get invites like you guys do. Like maybe it's because people don't like me. I don't know, but I don't get like that kind of like, you know, spamming of stuff like that. I never get.
Hold on, everybody in the chat. What we need you to do
tonight? I don't want it.
When you see Dark Optimus online,
I don't want it, man.
Spam the hell out of him. And make him feel
like,
wanted, people.
No. It's cool. Like, you know, I don't care about that. But, you know, like, I can't come.
Oh, you're going to care after tonight, dude.
Light his ass up.
When you guys get those kind of things, it kind of like, it kind of makes me think to myself, like, if I ever hit that moment, what am I going to do, you know, and in terms of that. And honestly, you know, don't do that to people because like they don't like being spammed. Like I've been spammed before with like just from friends, you know, just goofing around, just thinking it's funny or whatever. And then like I tell them like later on, I'm like, dude, just don't do that because like I'll probably tell you off or something. It's just it's just one of those things like. When you go, the one thing I hate the most is when you get into a party with somebody and you guys are all playing the same game together, and then like they're like they bring their friends in or whatever, and then their friends are like really like dickholes about the party or about the game. They're like, oh yeah, man, you go kill that dude, go kill him, like fuck his ass up, like it's like, dude, come on, man, like. I don't want to hear that, I just want to play the game and I want to hear strategy and I want to hear, like people just, talking about dumb shit. I don't want to hear about like, oh yeah, just go over there and kill that dude, like shit like that. I don't want to hear it. Like, and I've had it a couple
Dark,
times.
You suck, man. You couldn't even get a headshot.
No, yeah, no. Like they come in and they're like really dicks about playing the game and stuff like that, and like oh my god, I can't believe you shot that dude in the face. Like,
and then at that point, he kicked the Don out the party. By the way, that's what happened. All right,
but that does happen occasionally. But that does bring up a thing like introduce somebody. If they're coming into a party and they're playing with you, like, exactly. I know Xbox does this. Like, I don't think he even thinks about it, right? And people that don't introduce people, they don't think about it either, right? But introduce the person if they haven't played with somebody, like, so they can get to know them and see if you guys can jive together when you guys are playing, right? That's just if you're at somebody's house, you would introduce a friend that if you brought him over, right? Or he or she over. So what's the difference between bringing them into a party? It's about trying to be inclusive so we can all have fun, right? So yeah, introduce is another big one.
Yo, guys.
Well, another big one is like sometimes I will bring up some things from like the shows that I talk about or things that I talk about on the podcast. Sometimes
know who I was talking about, by the way. No, I'm just playing.
Sometimes I don't do it all the time, but like sometimes I will bring that stuff up. I'm not saying that like that's like that's not the right way of getting into a chat with somebody. But like if you ask me a question about something like that, of course we're gonna converse about it, but. Really the proper time to do it. The proper time to do it is when like if we're in a chat by ourselves, or something like that. But if we're in a party with a bunch of people.
Dark was in a party with me on PlayStation one time when this new person came in. And like she was like on the verge of telling me how my Xbox sucks, like, and I'm trying to be even keeled, and like it ended up into like a half-hour discussion about how there are benefits on both sides, and why the hell are we bringing up this conversation right now, like type thing, man.
And then you left me with her, and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, she's, she had some points there, but it was at the same time, it was like, this is not the place to talk about this shit.
I don't want to talk about that right now, man.
I'm trying to play a game, I don't want to talk about like what's better, Xbox or PlayStation. Like, who gives a fuck, like, who cares, honestly?
Yo, Brian, I know I just saw the time, man. I wanted to make sure Dark got his words in before we kind of concluded the show with all the points and plugs and everything like that. So, Dark, do you have anything left to say about this? I'll take that as a no.
What you do when you're in a party. Just watch what you say. Just watch what you say and do in a party. That's all.
Watch what you say and do in a party, or else Dark is coming after you. On that note, yeah. Like a 40-year-old with a comb over it, we got to get those plugs in. But first, I want to say huge shout out to the chat. You guys were active live tonight, man. It's been a blast hanging out with you this Saturday, but I know we are gamers. We have to get these controllers in our hands. So let's start with Predator. Predator, man, it is good to talk games with you again. 2018. First next podcast episode of the year. Why don't you let people know where they could get a hold of you and where they can find you, man.
Predator_H2OS on Twitter, on Xbox Live, on PlayStation, and on everything, I guess. I don't know what my Switch is. Also on Steam as well. Just make sure you guys follow, sub the channel. I'm trying to get do some things this year with my channel, so hit me up, and I'm always down to play games unless you're gonna be an asshole.
I was waiting for some type of add-on. I would be like, and make sure to jump into his party. Pred, man, as usual, it's great, man. It's great having you on the show, and hitting the topics, and hitting the DM with topics and stuff like that. I love seeing that, man. We all work together to make this show as great as possible, man. And you are definitely doing your part, unlike some dark Optimus people.
I know, dude.
No, I'm just playing, yo. He doesn't. Yeah, I'm just playing.
I want to turn that phrase from kicking a bunny into kicking an otter.
Ooh, dang.
Yo, hashtag kicking an otter, yo, guys. Tweet at Dark Optimus. But anyway.
You know what? Nah.
Dark, man. Why don't you let people know? I know you're on another podcast, and I think you're on social media in some places. Why don't you let people know where they can hashtag kick an otter?
Yeah, I'm on a little known podcast called the Quest Podcast every Thursday night at
Is that the one with that
9 p.m.
The infamous M. Baines?
Dude, the infamous M. Baines, dude.
Oh
he's on fire. He's on fire all the time, all day, every day. Except he sounds like he's in a refrigerator 95% of the time.
So he literally does the podcast on fire?
Refrigerator, not on fire, in a refrigerator.
Oh, man,
so he
does
it when he's freezing. So, but yeah, you guys can find me on the Quest Podcast at Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. You guys can also find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can find me on Xbox Live at the same name. And this was a fun show. Awesome 2018 start out, and yeah.
Nice. He really sounded genuine with that fun comment right there. This was a fun show.
Well, it's because you guys started talking about some. Never mind.
Connect.
Go there.
Yo, shout out to So Shady again, man. He said the Don kiss that ring, can't stop, won't stop. That's straight Cambodian, y'all. So on that note, why doesn't the Don let people know where they can get a hold of him as well?
You can usually get a hold of me. Twitter handle's down below. I also have a YouTube channel called Happy Little Polygons, where you get to see some stuff behind the scenes. And I started my New Year's resolution early. I was going to start doing more streaming content on the channel, and it started last year, and it's going into this year. So if you want to see me do some artwork, you can see it behind the scenes.
Nice, man. Yo, K Mega. I don't know what was going on with Otter. I think he was trying to attack you a couple points in time, but you held your ground, man. Why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you and what you've been up to lately with your channel, dude?
Oh man, I've been actually on a hiatus, and then I made a couple of videos this week, and then we had the GRG podcast after a couple of weeks being off, and last night it was fun as usual. And man, you can catch me on my channel, KMega405. You can also hit me up on Twitter, which is at KMega4. And man, I'm going to get ready to start streaming. The GRG game nights will start coming back. They'll be on Saturdays, and we're just gonna have fun and game. I want to be more open to the community, so more than I have been.
Nice. I remember GRG. I went in on the Battlefield 1 GRG like game night, man. That was absolute insanity.
It was so fun. I still got some recordings. I still have the Halo, and I have not, and I've been wanting to break it up and show it, because it was so epic, man. And it was so epic. It was so fun that night when we was all playing Halo. It was me and Dark and it was Remix and Live and Bot. It was stupid. It was real fun. And just listening to what those fools was talking about was just insane. So yeah, it was great.
Hell yeah, man. I can't wait to see that come back. But guys, again, huge shout out to everybody who came to check out the show live. Huge shout out to everybody who can't, make it live but come back and they watch the show afterwards. Guys, you inspire us to come together every Saturday and give you guys the best show possible, complete with gameplay, gaming news, and entertainment. And we really, really do appreciate all the support. But it is Saturday. We got to get the controller in our hands. So as we always say every Saturday, we will see you next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Go Rams. Let's go.
Oh,
Let's
no,
go.
No.
Go Rams.
No.
Spam Predator.
Yeah.